to die.
Wrath the Relentless!
Let's finish this!
When I first announced Prologue, one of the things I'm talking about today, this was 3 years ago, and then life happened and game dev is hard, and it's taken us 3 years to take what we saw as an early breakthrough and an exciting idea and getting it into a place that we can start sharing it with the broader public and getting their feedback on how to make it into really something interesting. When I started this, I was trying to make a larger open world experience than most people had made, and we tried 100 by 100 kilometers, and we found the way to do that. We essentially reinvented how you create these worlds using machine learning technology, using natural Earth data to generate these worlds from latent space. And that's what our breakthrough was. We discovered terrain and the upresing of terrain within latent space. And Prologue is the kind of culmination of that journey of taking this experiment and this kind of breakthrough tech and forming it into something that we can then use to test and improve this terrain, which will form the basis for the larger worlds I want to create. So we kind of broke our journey into 3 stages. One, we tried to build the ground on which we play or have the experience, the terrain. Second, we try to fill that terrain with lots of interaction when scaling up. And then third, we try to throw a bunch of those players onto the world. But even still, after that, we'll keep adding to Prologue to test out new systems and keep iterating until we're happy that our current engine that we're working on is ready to move over for the next version of the project. Prologue started off as an experiment in Unity, and then we moved over to Unreal about 2 years ago, and the tools in Unreal have really proven to be a solid foundation to test this tech. It allows you to have a new map to play on every time you press play. A large 8x8 map where we have put a simple survival loop, get from one side of the map to the other side of the map with some difficult weather along the way, but the map itself will be unique hopefully every time, and we can generate millions, if not billions of maps using our tech.
Because it's more about the large scale. And again, machine learning is very good at it because it will capture the patterns that we teach it. So if we can actually capture those patterns, then the models will actually do that for ourselves. If we tell them like, we want mountains in here, then it will actually say, okay, for the mountains, you need to have some specific shapes of the terrain, and then you need to have specific biomes around it. So that will be done for us.
It's not just raining and moody, it's not just an aesthetic thing. It's not just that the player is cold and wet. Suddenly now, oh wait, the environment gets wet, so the terrain becomes slippy, mud forms, rivers can go up. We're thinking of like, what are all the repercussions of that and how can it affect the player's survival?
We don't want an impossible game, we're not challenging a difficult game. So the aim is never to make it impossible to finish the game, so we have to be really sure if this feature that we're adding in is not going to completely break the experience at some point playing this game.
We are building this very creatively as we go. So we're discovering like what is fun, what is not fun. But at its core, it is about survival and getting from your point A to point B.
I think the more we can test, the more we can get the feedback from the users or the players. That's one of the reasons why we are going into early access, because the more we can actually engage with the community and get their feedback into, maybe we need to do this in this way, or we can introduce this part, then we can actually use that information to go into the models and shape them in a different way.
We're also working on Melba, which is our in-house engine, and the way that we build the engine is allowing us to scale up to large agent interaction on massive worlds. We're putting this into the hands of the community in something we're calling Preface Undiscovered World. It's a very simple experiment where we have an Earth-scale planet with some various biomes and some simple systems to allow you to explore it. The way that our terrain tech works is that until you go there, that place isn't discovered. You won't know what the biome is, you won't know what the ground looks like until you go there. So it truly is an undiscovered world.
Why we are working on two projects at the same time? It's because I don't believe in technology developed in vacuum. This is why we have Prologue, which is on Unreal, but we are using part of our technology to generate a world. It's why we have Preface, which is more about attacking the scale. So we attack the problem from both ends. And then after, we'll have some different products, and I'm saying product because sometimes it will be a game, sometimes it will be a technical demo, sometimes it will be something different, that's gonna help us to prove that the technology is ready to go to the next step. Preface, it's already on Steam, so you can go there, search for PlayerUnknown Production and download a Preface and discover the world. Even if you spend few minutes, that's gonna help us a lot because we're gonna gather data that's gonna help us to understand how the technology behaves in the wild. That's the best help you can give us for now. Then you can always go to Discord and give verbal feedback, but already downloading it and starting it will be a good help for us.
I want to get our tech into the hands of the people out there to help us form what this tech will become. Like, this terrain tech's interesting, but I really need more opinions. I want to leave it open, I want to leave it moddable. I'm not sure that's achievable right from the get-go, but I really want to involve the community early on because this is going to be a 5 or 10 year journey. So having their input early on and having their opinions and feedback, these are things you have to start early and can't just think about when you launch. So I'm pretty sure it's going to be a lot of fun, also a lot of heartbreak, but you know, the best journeys are. Prologue will be available on Steam coming in Q2 next year.
Help wanted. Cash cleaner. Job responsibilities. Take delivery of various financial products. Process these products and identify any opportunities for improvement. Package and deliver all products to stakeholders. The ideal candidate for this role should be able to carry a variety of objects repeatedly, have the ability to juggle a large number of tasks at the same time, be detail-oriented and highly organized, be proactive and focused on goals, mindful of time management, not wasteful. Oh my God. Be serious about safety. Oh, come on! And be ready for any challenge. Are you ready for a greener future? Cash Cleaner Simulator. Apply today.
Red Octane made this guitar like 17 years ago. Can somebody please make a new one?
Of all the series ripe for a virtual reality adaptation, few have greater potential than Alien. I mean, who aside from Ellen Ripley herself wouldn't want to experience the thrill of being hunted by the perfect organism without the whole risk of being dismembered thing? Alien Rogue Incursion is an admirable first attempt at delivering just that, with a compelling story, memorable characters, terrifying xenomorphs, and a perfectly crafted world that couldn't be mistaken for anything but the iconic Alien universe. There's plenty of room to improve in its already in the works sequel, however, especially when it comes to the simplistic combat, not so clever xenomorphic foes, and occasional jankiness that could use some smoothing over. Even so, Rogue Incursion is a strong opening act for a series I'm eager to play more of.
Emergency lockdown protocols are in effect. PDT keycard required for entry to main facility.
If you've read the Alien comics like Alien Defiance, then you'll already be familiar with the badass protagonist whose boots you'll be filling, Zula Hendricks. And if that name doesn't ring a bell, Rogue Incursion does a great job of introducing you to her in short order, so you don't have to do any homework beforehand. An ex-colonial marine with a rough upbringing and chronic back problems,
Seems like I'll be okay once I get a couple stems in me.
you're sent to a deserted planet overrun by the most evil creatures imaginable, accompanied by your trusty synthetic companion, Davis. Don't worry, he's reformed, and not the type to betray you to please his corporate overlords. Anymore.
We'll need an estimated week's worth of repairs before it will fly again whatsoever.
Lovely.
What follows is an extremely formulaic alien tale that apes all the same beats for which the series is known, but thanks to interesting dialogue, great characters, and a runtime that doesn't overstay its welcome, that familiarity doesn't end up being such a bad thing. Zula's relationship with her robot bestie is genuinely touching, oftentimes offsetting an otherwise relentlessly bleak situation, and the story has a few twists in store and an ending that sets up a sequel nicely. Over the 8-hour story, you'll tiptoe through the dark corridors and frozen wastes of a forgotten colony world while looking over your shoulder every few seconds for those eye-free freak shows that are never far off, and then painting the walls with their acidic blood whenever one pops out of a vent or sneaks up behind you. Going through each area slowly and doing your best to keep quiet can keep them off your back for slightly longer, but since ammo isn't particularly scarce and xenomorphs aren't all that hard to kill on anything but the hardest difficulty, I found that running through areas and getting things done quickly could work just as well, so long as you're up for a slightly more regular fight. And of course, you'll have to solve complicated engineering problems in a world where every piece of technology breaks as soon as a xenomorph so much as looks at it, and then makes as much noise as possible anytime you try to troubleshoot, just in case those aliens in the next room over hadn't heard you yet.
Emergency lockdown suspended. Please wait until motor pool purge is complete before entering the facility.
Combat is rather simple, in that 95% of the time you'll be attacked by xenomorphs who climb out of vents seemingly installed just to help them get around, pull out a weapon to make short work of them, and then move on. These encounters are divided nearly equally into either exciting sections that have some kind of unique twist, or completely monotonous annoyances. For example, shooting an explosive barrel right as a xenomorph leaps over it to kill you, narrowly escaping death, is extremely memorable. Similarly, setting traps as you hold off an onslaught of double-jawed monsters while performing IT support for some broken communications relay is an action-packed good time. But then you'll go a long stretch of walking down some of the same hallways you visited already, stopping every 30 seconds to kill a few monsters that run straight at you, completely devoid of any kind of intelligent attack strategy. Then carefully reload your weapons before moving on and repeating the process moments later. These sections tend to make combat feel pretty mundane, and take away a lot of the initial fear when confronting a xenomorph, which begin to feel quite commonplace after the first couple hours. Probably the weakest part of combat is your limited and mostly unremarkable arsenal, which consists of just a pulse rifle, a pump-action shotgun, and a 6-shooter revolver. The pulse rifle is usually the most reliable choice for a variety of situations, and also the only weapon that really feels recognizable in the Alien universe, as the shotgun and revolver seem oddly generic and low-tech for a sci-fi setting. Your only other tools are proximity grenades that can be set to go off when an alien draws near, and a motion scanner that you won't need to use very often since xenomorphs loudly scurry about and hiss at you to announce their presence most of the time.
It can still pick up nearsighted scents at least.
Cute.
These items feel pretty par for the course for VR shooters, with little to set them apart. It's also a bit weird that you don't have a last resort melee weapon to fall back on, so if a facehugger does this, you'd better hope you can get your pistol pointed at an awkward angle and kill it. This is an Alien game, so perhaps unsurprisingly, the enemy variety isn't very strong either. You'll go at least several hours before seeing a single enemy that isn't a xenomorph, and even when you do, it'll be a facehugger or two before going right back to more xenos. The good news is that these aliens can be pretty intimidating foes. They kill in just a hit or two, and rush at you by crawling on walls, leaping great distances, and moving erratically to make them hard to pin down. Unfortunately, despite their best effort, their menacing appearance doesn't always translate to them being particularly crafty foes. After you've learned their small bag of tricks in the first hour or two, they begin to feel downright dim as they mosey on out through a vent before pausing in front of you for a few seconds, giving you ample time to score the kill while they stand in place. Between the first Alien movie's depiction of the xenomorph as an all-powerful monstrosity that can scarcely be beaten, and the second movie's tendency to blast through dozens of creatures within the span of a few minutes, Rogue Incursion certainly finds itself in the latter camp. Then there are the bugs, which are generally minor but still noteworthy enough to be annoying. Xenomorphs will move through objects in bizarre ways, the controls aren't always as precise as I'd hope while staring down a room full of facehuggers, and sometimes characters will repeat the same lines of dialogue multiple times in a row.
That's everything. Ready to roll out. That's everything. Ready to roll out. That's everything. Ready to roll out.
None of these issues are particularly troublesome, but they do add a slight lack of polish that I hope will be worked on for the sequel. And while not the fault of Rogue Incursion alone, one especially annoying PSVR 2 issue that felt like a particular problem here is that the little PlayStation logo buttons are a tad too easy to hit, especially when you're clamoring for your handgun after a xenomorph surprises you. Most of the times I died were due to a menu popping up at exactly the wrong moment, sending me scrambling to back out before I was killed. That adds an extra level of stress in the wrong kind of way. Again, this is a controller design problem by Sony at the end of the day, but it came up enough here that I was surprised there wasn't some built-in protection against it. Maybe make me hold the menu button down for a second or two before you cause me to get impaled on an alien's tail. Alien Rogue Incursion is a faithful and entertaining stab at bringing Alien to virtual reality. The excellent story, spot-on alien environments, and creepy xenomorphs keep the horrifying times going throughout its 8-hour duration, even when repetitive combat, predictable AI, and the odd bug here and there make it clear this is the first attempt that it is. But while there's plenty of room for this budding series to grow, I can already happily recommend Rogue Incursion as a strong proof of concept to Alien fans and newcomers alike, one that's left me eagerly awaiting Part 2. For more games that will fill you with movie nostalgia, check out our review of Indiana Jones and the Great Circle or Marvel Rivals. And for everything else, stick with IGN.
So, you want to be a trailblazer? They say the world once bore a different visage. But now the march engulfs us, and they come to seek what lies within. The misfits, the dishonored, the hungry, the dreamers, all gathered here, all burdened by their memories, yearning for a home. They'll find it here, the heart's comforting embrace. Their eyes fixed upon the march, becoming what this world demands.
Are you planning a new expedition?
Your ship, dear customer. You are more likely to succeed this time.
Tell me, are you sure you want this contract? I will not tolerate failure.
Wipe away your tears, my child. Death is not the end.
It was always within you, wasn't it? The heart of a trailblazer.
There are so many damn gaming headsets out there, and every company wants to flex and say theirs is the best. But not everyone can be the best. Now, I have years of experience reviewing gaming headsets, testing them in competitive games such as Valorant and Counter-Strike, and listening to a wide range of music genres to really examine their sound quality. Of course, comfort is a major factor too, and so are things like microphone quality, durability, and all the cool features you can add on top. But regardless of how much you can spend, you should always get the best your money can buy. And that's where I come in. Every headset I'm recommending in this video I have first-hand experience with, so I can vouch for them, and I'll be going through why I made my picks. And every one of these headsets are available on all modern gaming platforms, but just be sure you get the right model, especially if you're on Xbox. Now, that's enough preamble, let's get into the top gaming headsets from budget to best. Turtle Beach knows what it's doing when it comes to gaming headsets, and even if you go down their pricing hierarchy, there are a lot of great options, like the Stealth 500. Although it's quite bulky in its physical design, I really like the super flexible and durable headband, and that also translates to good comfort as it rests easy on your head, plus it has soft and plushy ear pads. More importantly, the sound quality you get from the Stealth 500 is nothing to scoff at. While it may struggle a little bit with higher frequencies as you crank up the volume, maybe a little higher than it should be, you still get strong bass and clear mids that make games sound full without feeling artificial. With the signature sound profile in Turtle Beach's Swarm 2 software, you'll be set without having to fiddle with too many EQ settings. And I really like the positional audio on the Stealth 500, which I sussed out playing a bunch of rounds of Counter-Strike 2, so you don't really need to shell out the big bucks to get that kind of advantage. Even at this price point, you get Bluetooth as an option, and you could swap between devices with the press of a button. Microphone quality isn't great, but it's serviceable and you can communicate clearly with people online, and you can customize it through the Swarm 2 software as well. It's no surprise that at a budget level headset you have to make a few compromises, but the Stealth 500 gets the essentials right. At a base price of $80, you get a lot of bang for your buck, but you can often find it on sale to save even more money on what's already a great budget level wireless headset. No matter which model of the HyperX Cloud headsets you go with, you're likely to get a quality product. But if you want something that approaches the high end without really having to ball out, I always recommend the HyperX Cloud 3. It punches above its weight with fantastic sound, impressive microphone quality, and great comfort. Plus, it's built like a brick house, so it's not going to fall apart over years of use. You could stretch out the headband and contort it every which way, and you're not going to feel like you're breaking the thing. Stretching the headset out to get it to fit on your head is super easy, and you can toss them on your desk without worrying about damaging it. But it's also built for comfort, and I really like its cushioned headband and the dense memory foam that make up its ear pads that are wrapped in leatherette. At the end of the day, it's all about sound quality, and the Cloud 3 handled various frequencies wonderfully. I was confident in tracking enemy footsteps in Valorant, and I loved going through hectic raids in Final Fantasy XIV with all the sound effects and the soundtrack blasting at the same time. So across the board, this headset handled games and music gracefully. Assuming you're budget conscious, or primarily play on console where a standalone mic isn't really a thing, you want the best microphone possible. Luckily, the Cloud 3's microphone clarity approaches even some entry-level standalone mics, and it is one of the most impressive parts about this headset. And that's saying a lot, considering that another impressive aspect is battery life. This thing can last upwards of 100 hours off of a full charge. The base price for the wireless version is $150, but it often goes on sale, further making the Cloud 3 a great value. And if you don't mind wires, the wired version is even cheaper, starting at $100. You can ask anyone who has used the Odyssey Maxwell if it's worth the asking price, and you're gonna get the same answer. It's a resounding yes, and that includes me. It sports a sleek, nondescript design like many headphones of the audiophile variety, and performs just like one as well. Sometimes I need to break away from this idea that wired headphones are always better for sound quality, especially when the Odyssey Maxwell has proved me wrong. Its 90mm planar magnetic drivers jump out from the spec sheet, and while bigger drivers don't always mean better sound quality, this is one case in which the audio experience matches that flex in driver size. Overall clarity, balance across frequencies, and just a really rich audio profile help the Odyssey Maxwell stand out from the rest of the pack. Trust me, it sounds absolutely fantastic. While the next headset I recommend has robust features and great sound, it's hard to compete with the Odyssey Maxwell purely from an audio perspective, and it's also comfortable to wear for long sessions. That said, it is on the heavier side of gaming headsets, and it's built like a tank, but if you don't mind that, then it's more of a non-issue. When you get a great mix of fantastic sound quality, a solid mic with great noise isolation, and upwards of 80 hours of battery life, it's easy to justify the cost. At normal price, the Odyssey Maxwell goes for $300, so if you can catch it on sale, I highly recommend you make the jump. Now, for my top recommendation, the SteelSeries Arctis Nova Pro, which, fun fact, is the only headset to earn a 10 on IGN's review scale, and it's easy to see why. It's beautifully designed with slim and sleek ear cups that don't sacrifice the top-notch quality that SteelSeries headsets are known for. It also has telescoping arms to better fit larger head sizes, which is a criticism of SteelSeries headsets in the past. And that signature suspension headband really helps take pressure off the top of your head. Most importantly, the Arctis Nova Pro offers incredible sound and really packs a punch with its 40mm neodymium drivers. It's tuned to handle frequencies across the EQ spectrum beautifully, and there's a ton of customization you can do in the SteelSeries software. Its spatial audio is crucial as well, so you can pick up on enemy footsteps or gunfire in any which direction in a competitive shooter, for example. In addition to active noise cancellation, there are some unique features that make the headset special and that big price tag a little easier to accept. The hot swappable rechargeable batteries are clutch. You get two, so while you're using one, the other can charge, so you never really need to plug in the headset. You also get a base station where you can control all of the headset's features effortlessly. That's also the thing that charges the headset's batteries. The retractable mic gives great clarity and blocks outside noise really well. It tucks into the headset and sits flush when you don't need it, so it maintains the vibe of a high-end pair of headphones rather than an extravagant gaming headset. The Arctis Nova Pro is one of the most well-rounded headsets and one of the best you can buy right now. The wireless version has a base price of $350, but it is often on sale at around $300 or even less. Yes, that's still pricey, but it is a case in which you get what you pay for. Those are my top picks for gaming headsets from budget to best. If you end up unsatisfied with any of the recommendations I made, you could fry me over on the comments at ign.com, where we have buying guides for every gaming peripheral imaginable. If you want something a little bit more discreet in your audio game, you should check out our video on the best wireless earbuds too. Until next time, for all things in the world of gaming tech, stick with IGN.
You may choose a character. This is going to be fun. Critical hit.
A dungeon.
Prepare to die. Wrath the Relentless. Let's finish this.
When I first announced Prologue, one of the things I'm talking about today, this was 3 years ago, and then life happened, and game dev is hard, and it's taken us 3 years to take what we saw as an early breakthrough and an exciting idea, and getting it into a place that we can start sharing it with the broader public and getting their feedback on how to make it into really something interesting. When I started this, I was trying to make a larger open world experience than most people had made, and we tried 100 by 100 kilometers, and we found the way to do that. We essentially reinvented how you create these worlds using machine learning technology, using natural Earth data to generate these worlds from latent space. And that's what our breakthrough was. We discovered terrain and the upresing of terrain within latent space. And Prologue is the kind of culmination of that journey of taking this experiment and this kind of breakthrough tech and forming it into something that we can then use to test and improve this terrain, which will form the basis for the larger worlds I want to create. So we kind of broke our journey into 3 stages. One, we tried to build the ground on which we play or have the experience, the terrain. Second, we try to fill that terrain with lots of interaction when scaling up. And then third, we try to throw a bunch of those players onto the world. But even still, after that, we'll keep adding to Prologue to test out new systems and keep iterating until we're happy that our current engine that we're working on is ready to move over for the next version of the project. Prologue started off as an experiment in Unity, and then we moved over to Unreal about 2 years ago, and the tools in Unreal have really proven to be a solid foundation to test this tech. It allows you to have a new map to play on every time you press play. A large 8x8 map where we have put a simple survival loop, get from one side of the map to the other side of the map with some difficult weather along the way, but the map itself will be unique hopefully every time, and we can generate millions, if not billions of maps using our tech.
Because it's more about the large scale. And again, machine learning is very good at it because it will capture the patterns that we teach it. So if we can actually capture those patterns, then the models will actually do that for ourselves. If we tell them like, we want mountains in here, then it will actually say, okay, for the mountains, you need to have some specific shapes of the terrain, and then you need to have specific biomes around it. So that will be done for us.
It's not just raining and moody, it's not just an aesthetic thing. It's not just that the player is cold and wet. Suddenly now, oh wait, the environment gets wet, so the terrain becomes slippy, mud forms, rivers can go up. We're thinking of like, what are all the repercussions of that and how can it affect the player's survival?
We don't want an impossible game. We're not challenging and difficult game. So the aim is never to make it impossible to finish the game. So we have to be really sure if this feature that we're adding in is not going to completely break the experience at some point playing this game.
We are building this very creatively as we go. So we're discovering like what is fun, what is not fun. But at its core, it is about survival and getting from your point A to point B.
I think the more we can test, the more we can get the feedback from the users or the players. That's one of the reasons why we are going into early access, because the more we can actually engage with the community and get their feedback into, maybe we need to do this in this way, or we can introduce this part, then we can actually use that information to go into the models and shape them in a different way.
We're also working on Melba, which is our in-house engine, and the way that we build the engine is allowing us to scale up to large agent interaction on massive worlds. We're putting this into the hands of the community in something we're calling Preface Undiscovered World. It's a very simple experiment where we have an Earth-scale planet with some various biomes and some simple systems to allow you to explore it. The way that our terrain tech works is that until you go there, that place isn't discovered. You won't know what the biome is, you won't know what the ground looks like until you go there. So it truly is an undiscovered world.
Why we are working on two projects at the same time, it's because I don't believe in technology developed in vacuum. This is why we have Prologue, which is on Unreal, but we are using part of our technology to generate a world. It's why we have Preface, which is more about attacking the scale. So we attack the problem from both ends. And then after, we'll have some different products. And I'm saying product because sometimes it will be a game, sometimes it will be a technical demo, sometimes it will be something different that's gonna help us to prove that the technology is ready to go to the next step. Preface, it's already on Steam, so you can go there, search for PlayerUnknown Production and download a Preface and discover the world. Even if you spend few minutes, that's gonna help us a lot because we're gonna gather data that's gonna help us to understand how the technology behaves in the wild. That's the best help you can give us for now. Then you can always go to Discord and give verbal feedback, but already downloading it and starting it will be a good help for us.
I want to get our tech into the hands of the people out there to help us form what this tech will become. Like, this terrain tech's interesting, but I really need more opinions. I want to leave it open, I want to leave it moddable. I'm not sure that's achievable right from the get-go, but I really want to involve the community early on because this is going to be a 5 or 10 year journey. So having their input early on and having their opinions and feedback, these are things you have to start early and can't just think about when you launch. So I'm pretty sure it's going to be a lot of fun, also a lot of heartbreak, but the best journeys are. Prologue will be available on Steam coming in Q2 next year.
all the series ripe for a virtual reality adaptation, few have greater potential than Alien. I mean, who aside from Ellen Ripley herself wouldn't want to experience the thrill of being hunted by the perfect organism without the whole risk of being dismembered thing? Alien Rogue Incursion is an admirable first attempt at delivering just that, with a compelling story, memorable characters, terrifying xenomorphs, and a perfectly crafted world that couldn't be mistaken for anything but the iconic Alien universe. There's plenty of room to improve in its already in the works sequel, however, especially when it comes to the simplistic combat, not so clever xenomorphic foes, and occasional jankiness that could use some smoothing over. Even so, Rogue Incursion is a strong opening act for a series I'm eager to play more of.
Emergency lockdown protocols are in effect. PDT keycard required for entry to main facility.
If you've read the Alien comics like Alien Defiance, then you'll already be familiar with the badass protagonist whose boots you'll be filling, Zula Hendrix. And if that name doesn't ring a bell, Rogue Incursion does a great job of introducing you to her in short order, so you don't have to do any homework beforehand. An ex-colonial marine with a rough upbringing and chronic back problems,
Seems like I'll be okay once I get a couple stems in me.
You're sent to a deserted planet overrun by the most evil creatures imaginable, accompanied by your trusty synthetic companion, Davis. Don't worry, he's reformed and not the type to betray you to please his corporate overlords. Anymore.
We'll need an estimated week's worth of repairs before it will fly again whatsoever.
Lovely.
What follows is an extremely formulaic alien tale that apes all the same beats for which the series is known, but thanks to interesting dialogue, great characters, and a runtime that doesn't overstay its welcome, that familiarity doesn't end up being such a bad thing. Zula's relationship with her robot bestie is genuinely touching, oftentimes offsetting an otherwise relentlessly bleak situation, and the story has a few twists in store and an ending that sets up a sequel nicely. Over the 8-hour story, you'll tiptoe through the dark corridors and frozen wastes of a forgotten colony world while looking over your shoulder every few seconds for those eye-free freak shows that are never far off, and then painting the walls with their acidic blood whenever one pops out of a vent or sneaks up behind you. Going through each area slowly and doing your best to keep quiet can keep them off your back for slightly longer, but since ammo isn't particularly scarce and xenomorphs aren't all that hard to kill on anything but the hardest difficulty, I found that running through areas and getting things done quickly could work just as well, so long as you're up for a slightly more regular fight. And of course, you'll have to solve complicated engineering problems in a world where every piece of technology breaks as soon as a xenomorph so much as looks at it, and then makes as much noise as possible anytime you try to troubleshoot, just in case those aliens in the next room over hadn't heard you yet.
Emergency lockdown suspended. Please wait until motor pool purge is complete before entering the facility.
Combat is rather simple, in that 95% of the time you'll be attacked by xenomorphs who climb out of vents seemingly installed just to help them get around, pull out a weapon to make short work of them, and then move on. These encounters are divided nearly equally into either exciting sections that have some kind of unique twist, or completely monotonous annoyances. For example, shooting an explosive barrel right as a xenomorph leaps over it to kill you, narrowly escaping death, is extremely memorable. Similarly, setting traps as you hold off an onslaught of double-jawed monsters while performing IT support for some broken communications relay is an action-packed good time. But then you'll go a long stretch of walking down some of the same hallways you visited already, stopping every 30 seconds to kill a few monsters that run straight at you, completely devoid of any kind of intelligent attack strategy. Then carefully reload your weapons before moving on and repeating the process moments later. These sections tend to make combat feel pretty mundane, and take away a lot of the initial fear when confronting a xenomorph, which begin to feel quite commonplace after the first couple hours. Probably the weakest part of combat is your limited and mostly unremarkable arsenal, which consists of just a pulse rifle, a pump-action shotgun, and a 6-shooter revolver. The pulse rifle is usually the most reliable choice for a variety of situations, and also the only weapon that really feels recognizable in the Alien universe, as the shotgun and revolver seem oddly generic and low-tech for a sci-fi setting. Your only other tools are proximity grenades that can be set to go off when an alien draws near, and a motion scanner that you won't need to use very often since xenomorphs loudly scurry about and hiss at you to announce their presence most of the time.
It can still pick up nearsighted scents at least.
Cute.
These items feel pretty par for the course for VR shooters, with little to set them apart. It's also a bit weird that you don't have a last resort melee weapon to fall back on, so if a facehugger does this, you'd better hope you can get your pistol pointed at an awkward angle and kill it. This is an Alien game, so perhaps unsurprisingly, the enemy variety isn't very strong either. You'll go at least several hours before seeing a single enemy that isn't a xenomorph, and even when you do, it'll be a facehugger or two before going right back to more xenos. The good news is that these aliens can be pretty intimidating foes. They kill in just a hit or two, and rush at you by crawling on walls, leaping great distances, and moving erratically to make them hard to pin down. Unfortunately, despite their best effort, their menacing appearance doesn't always translate to them being particularly crafty foes. After you've learned their small bag of tricks in the first hour or two, they begin to feel downright dim as they mosey on out through a vent before pausing in front of you for a few seconds, giving you ample time to score the kill while they stand in place. Between the first Alien movie's depiction of the xenomorph as an all-powerful monstrosity that can scarcely be beaten, and the second movie's tendency to blast through dozens of creatures within the span of a few minutes, Rogue Incursion certainly finds itself in the latter camp. Then there are the bugs, which are generally minor but still noteworthy enough to be annoying. Xenomorphs will move through objects in bizarre ways, the controls aren't always as precise as I'd hope while staring down a room full of facehuggers, and sometimes characters will repeat the same lines of dialogue multiple times in a row.
That's everything. Ready to roll out. That's everything. Ready to roll out. That's everything. Ready to roll out.
None of these issues are particularly troublesome, but they do add a slight lack of polish that I hope will be worked on for the sequel. And while not the fault of Rogue Incursion alone, one especially annoying PSVR 2 issue that felt like a particular problem here is that the little PlayStation logo buttons are a tad too easy to hit, especially when you're clamoring for your handgun after a xenomorph surprises you. Most of the times I died were due to a menu popping up at exactly the wrong moment, sending me scrambling to back out before I was killed. That adds an extra level of stress in the wrong kind of way. Again, this is a controller design problem by Sony at the end of the day, but it came up enough here that I was surprised there wasn't some built-in protection against it. Maybe make me hold the menu button down for a second or two before you cause me to get impaled on an alien's tail. Alien Rogue Incursion is a faithful and entertaining stab at bringing Alien to virtual reality. The excellent story, spot-on alien environments, and creepy xenomorphs keep the horrifying times going throughout its 8-hour duration, even when repetitive combat, predictable AI, and the odd bug here and there make it clear this is the first attempt that it is. But while there's plenty of room for this budding series to grow, I can already happily recommend Rogue Incursion as a strong proof of concept to Alien fans and newcomers alike, one that's left me eagerly awaiting Part 2. For more games that will fill you with movie nostalgia, check out our review of Indiana Jones and the Great Circle or Marvel Rivals. And for everything else, stick with IGN.
Okay. Look down. Pull out your wallet. Whether it coughed up dust or a gold-encrusted credit card fell out, you still have to ask yourself this question. What does a case look like at my budget? Every rig needs a case, and the ones we're about to cover are all standouts. Hi, I'm Chelsea Bites, and this is IGN's Budget to Best, the PC Case Edition. First off, let's get one thing straight. I absolutely love to build. From extra large to mini ITX to open air to custom water cooled cases, I've stuck my hands in just about all types of builds. Now, in order to save you time, I've picked some cases that will not only have something unique about them, but give a bang for your buck. Now, to be clear, we pick these cases as the best at each price range. So, PC enthusiasts at any level can take advantage of the cases shared here. Let's start with the first case, Cooler Master. Here is the Masterbox Q300L and the Cube Q300L V2. Now, these cases will run you $39.99 and $60 respectively. Each are mini tower cases, which I myself am very particular to. These may be the budget choices, but they still pack a surprising amount of options when it comes to its design. Beyond it being a great case at its price point, what sets the Q300L apart is its one-of-a-kind modular I/O panel. Now, you can place it in 6 different locations on both sides of the chassis, at the front, top, or bottom. This level of customizability should be included in cases across all brands. Just saying. Both the Q300L and the V2 have patterned magnetic dust filters that can be swapped in and out to change up the look. Now, the Q300L has an edge-to-edge acrylic transparent side panel, while the V2 has an edge-to-edge tempered glass side panel. These both come in black and white. Both are roughly the same size and support micro ATX and mini ITX motherboards. Each comes with a single exhaust fan and can support up to 6 in total depending on your fan configuration. Both have punch-out PCIe expansion slots, so when you remove them, they're gone for good. You can lay both of these cases on either of its sides and assembly is largely the same. Both have an edge-to-edge design, so you can really show off your PC's guts. Besides the ample amount of space, the case provides several zip tie points and plenty of wide open pass-throughs, along with plenty of zip ties. Yes, there's no Velcro, it's not flashy, but it definitely gets the job done. The Q300L has 2 USB 3.0 ports, a standard input and output audio port, and a reset button. The V2 I/O panel introduces a combo audio jack, a USB-C port, and removes the reset button. The Q300L V2 also redesigned the pattern filters for a fresh look. Just to be clear, the V2 does not have an adjustable I/O panel. Now, no matter your choice, each of these cases provide a huge amount of flexibility at this price point. Our mid-budget case is from Fractal. This beauty is called the Fractal North, a mid-tower case that comes in mesh and tempered glass that supports ATX, micro ATX, and mini ITX motherboards. They're both generally priced between $149.99 and $190 depending on your design choices. These cases are all about style with functionality. Think business casual, but for PC cases, because personally, when I see this case, I feel like a CEO. The Fractal North doesn't look like just some case. It's a work of art. It has real walnut or oak panels with sleek brass or steel details depending on your choices. It also has a tab you can use to access the top of the case easily. The design isn't the only thing that stands out either. If you get the mesh version, it has an extra surprise, a fan hub and bracket that allows you to build in 2 additional fans adjacent to your GPU for further cooling and control. Both of these cases come in charcoal white and charcoal black, with either a mesh or tempered glass option for each. And you shouldn't be worried about splinters. I ran my hand over the wood at least 50 times. You're good. Now, both support a 360mm radiator on the front and a 240mm radiator on the top, and a rear radiator with 7 bridgeless expansion slots and space for 4 drives. These mid-towers have plenty of room. Finally, you get a USB-C port on your front panel along with 2 USB 3.0 ports and an input and output combo audio jack. When you open the back of this case, you'll immediately notice the ample amounts of places to zip tie your cables. The Velcro routing and the rubber pass-throughs help to keep your look clean. For weighing it at our midway price, it provides multiple performance options with a very simplistic and stunning design. Now, on to our priciest case, which I'm sure you've seen before. The Height Y70 Touch is an ATX mid-tower that comes in at our enthusiast level at $359.99. Now, I want to preface this by pointing out that the Y70 Touch is extremely limited due to overwhelming demand. However, the Y70, a version of this case that does not have the touchscreen, is available as an alternative. Patient builders can look forward to upgrade kits for the Y70 coming out in Q3 2024. This means you'll be able to convert your own Y70 case into a Y70 Touch. Now, let's get into what makes this case special. And of course, the first thing you're going to notice is the 14.1-inch integrated touchscreen with a 4K resolution and a 60 Hz refresh rate. It has a 10-point multi-touch capability, which is supported by Height's software, Nexus, making it fully customizable with widgets to monitor your PC and change up its look at the click of a button. The Y70 Touch exclusively mounts its GPUs vertically, with the exception of a few low-profile graphics cards. Your GPU also needs an extra display port, as your touchscreen will require one of them. Many functionalities listed in the Nexus software are coming soon, so while there are staple widgets preloaded that can monitor your PC's performance, or even let you read Twitch chat, you'll have to customize your experience with your own individual links if you want to go further than that. Beyond that, there are more ways to personalize your Y70 Touch. You can upload your own personal dynamic faces or use their preloaded ones instead. I found that I wanted a little more interaction from the presets. There's a koi background where they have the fish swimming underneath the screen, and I would love to drag my hand across it and see like ripples in the water. But that's just me. A beta function that I loved allows you to see your own personal background through the software. So if you already have your own preferred design, you can continue it onto the Y70 Touch display. Now, one thing you don't see every day is this beautiful removable HDD tray. While some cases do tote this feature, I think incorporating their branding and the ease of access added a very nice touch. Pro tip, for those who have no pets, I suggest trying this design without the glass for a bit. The Y70 supports all motherboard sizes. There are 7 half and 4 full height expansion slots. The front panel I/O has one USB-C port, 2 USB 3.0 ports, and a combo audio jack. Cable management comes easy with 4 huge rubber pass-throughs, meaningful zip tie points, and ample amounts of built-in Velcro. With a tall shroud to cover all of your hard work, it'll look like your computer is magically floating in place. Fun fact, Height is a sister brand of iBuyPower, which also has an established series of computers which feature Height cases. If you're not looking to build, this may be a good option to pursue if you want to avoid the fuss. And those are all of our budget to best picks. Thank you for reviewing the Cooler Master Q300L and V2, the Fractal North, and Height Y70 Touch with me. Hopefully you found something special, whether your dough is low or you were born with a silver spoon in your mouth. I was your host, Chelsea Bites. Thanks so much for watching, and make sure to check out more of IGN's Budget to Best series. Subscribe to IGN, and see you next time. Bye!
IGN Fan Fest 2025 is here. From Monster Hunter Wilds to Mythic Quest, Daredevil Born Again, let's dance, to Devil May Cry. Coming up,
everything changed when that bloody atom plant went up in flames.
Atomfall, WWE 2K25,
Nah.
Frag Punk, and Gex.
Were you expecting someone else?
Seriously? FanFest Day 4 starts right now.
Hello and welcome to day 4 of IGN Fan Fest. I'm Damon Hatfield.
And I'm Kim Horcher. All week long, IGN Fan Fest has been celebrating some of the biggest, coolest, weirdest, and craziest movies, shows, games, and more heading your way soon.
Today we're just focusing on the games. We've got brand new looks at some major upcoming releases like WWE 2K25, Frag Punk, Assassin's Creed Shadows, and more.
We've even got a couple of games we can't tell you about right now because they haven't even been officially announced yet. But don't worry, because all will be revealed later today. Now, in case you missed out on the last 3 days of IGN Fan Fest, don't worry, you can catch up on everything at IGN.com, IGN's YouTube page, and wherever you get your IGN stuff. I personally asked my grandmother to print the website and mail it to me every single day. It's not timely and it's not efficient, but it gives her something fun to do. And I get to be excited for the mail every day.
Hey, whatever makes you happy. Personally, when I want to be happy, I think about how great it was that in 1995, a bunch of people got together to make a platforming video game about a gecko that wears sunglasses and is also sometimes a secret agent.
When I want to be sad for some reason, I think about how that extremely cool gecko hasn't graced consoles in over 25 years, but today I have one less thing to be sad about because that radical reptile is back, baby. Tilt your shades down and lean up against something with your arms crossed because it's time to take a brand new look at the most iconic lizard video game protagonist of all time, Gex.
The clock says party time!
Sweet, like candy.
Body blow!
It's tail time.
It's tail time! It's tail time!
Hi, I'm Ben Fisher, Head of Design at Rebellion, and I'm here to give you a sneak preview of some extra footage of Atomfall.
Here we are in Slatten Dale, the first large area you get to explore in the game. Resources are scarce in the quarantine zone, so you will need to search and scavenge in order to survive. Here we equip our flashlight and enter a seemingly abandoned building.
I wonder if the wall goes all around. Must do. That and ships watching on the coast.
A crew of bandits is passing by, and we sensibly decide to stay quiet in order to try and remain undetected. These decisions can be a matter of life and death, so knowing when to engage or not will prove vital. There are a variety of resources for you to find on your travels, including items such as bottles, string, cloth, and scrap, all of which you can use to craft items once you uncover the relevant recipe. These items include bandages, Molotov cocktails, grenades, and more. When searching, you may also uncover notes and letters that reveal potential leads within the game, as well as backstory and lore. You want to discover what really happened at the Windscale Atom Plant and reveal the mysteries that it holds. You will meet a host of colourful and varied characters as you move through the quarantine zone. Choosing who to trust will be a real judgment call that will affect the game's narrative. Scavenging and searching fallen enemies can also be a good source of ammunition, which is an extremely prized possession. Remembering to keep your guns loaded could be the difference between life and death. Here we skip forward a little and find ourselves tracking down an outlaw. Taking enemies out quickly and quietly will allow you to outthink any packs and turn the odds in your favor. Here we sneak up on them before swiftly dispatching them and taking their loot. Now we have to decide whether to engage with the larger pack. This time we go for it, equipping our rifle from the quick access menu and making a headshot. Conscious of the reload time for the rifle, we quickly switch to a double-barreled shotgun that we found. This allows us to kill 2 outlaws who rush at us. All of our guns are now empty, so we have no option but to switch to a melee attack and our trusty cricket bat. You can either make quick swings with this, or charge up a meteor attack. Just be careful not to miss. We look forward to revealing more about Atomfall before release on March 27th.
Welcome to Berdan.
Steel was a gift from the gods. But these are dark times. The Queen's spell has turned steel to stone and left her army unmatched. Only you can wield the hammer of the gods and bend steel to your will. You have been chosen, Aram Delira. Only you can forge your legend.
What could you possibly say? You're here to kill me.
You just saw Gex, Brawlhalla, Atomfall, Alien Rogue Incursion, and the world premiere of Blades of Fire right here on Fan Fest. Next up, it's SmackDown time with the huge new wrestling game, WWE 2K25. Let's get ready to rumble.
Ding dong, hello, it's WWE superstar Bayley and your role model.
and I'm here at IGN Fan Fest talking about 2K25, and I hear there's a showcase mode where you can play myself versus Naomi in a historical women's championship match in Saudi Arabia, and we all know what happened there. I was on a roll, I was on fire, I came out on top, I made history like I do. But now I'm hearing that you can make changes, that if you're feeling the glow, that you can make Naomi win the match, that for some reason in your little brain, you don't want to see Bayley win. And for some reason, you want to make a little glitch in history in my historic 380 plus day as SmackDown Women's Champion, and you want to make Naomi win this match? Well, if you decide to do that, to each his own, and just tweet me, I'll come find you, it's fine. But make sure that if you want to do that, you pre-order 2K25 right now, and I won't be mad.
For the first time ever, we have a women's championship match here in the Middle East, in Saudi Arabia. Bayley against Naomi. Will Bayley's record-setting reign end here tonight? Bayley versus Naomi, SmackDown Women's Championship on the line.
So much of Naomi's career has been predicated on making history, and tonight she has the opportunity to make even more history.
And Naomi's got plenty of momentum coming into this match and is feeling mighty confident herself.
Ooh, bullseye!
Bayley having every reason to be confident heading into this matchup.
I don't think it's anything Bayley can't handle, Cole. Once you reach the mountaintop, you plant your feet and you hold your ground, no matter how heavy the burden may get.
Here's Bayley landing hard on the outside.
Taking flight. Whoa, what a landing. Took a leap of faith and connected perfectly. This could be just what they needed.
Naomi going for broke. And this high-risk offense from the challenger might be catching the champion by surprise.
The challenger being the aggressor here, but remember, the title can only be won by pinfall or submission inside the ring.
We know that Naomi's going to want to pick up the pace in this match, but Bayley's going to look to wear Naomi down.
Yeah, Bayley's going to want to slow down the pace and let the adrenaline wear off for Naomi. Bayley can also turn up the aggression here in a way I'm not quite sure Naomi can match. Bayley's being caught off guard by Naomi. The champ wasn't expecting such a flurry of offense from the
Playing possum! Whoa, playing possum! The challenger wriggles out in one.
She still has enough energy for a simple kick out.
Byron, you've talked a lot about this change in Bayley and how people can't believe that this is the type of person she's turned into.
Well, it comes down to career frustration. Bayley is frustrated with her career progression. The way things were when she was hugging and smiling.
It's not about frustration, Saxton. It's about realization. Bayley realized she never got the respect that she deserves from the WWE Universe.
Oh, look at a head scissor. Oh, and a head scissor DDT.
That could be it. Naomi isn't feeling intimidated by the moment. Bayley fending that off.
Oh, atomic drop! I don't think I've ever seen a champion feel as disrespected as Bayley has, Corey, because Bayley's talked a lot about how people think she's an afterthought as a champion. Everybody talks about Becky Lynch on Raw. They're now talking about Rhea Ripley in NXT. But Bayley has been the longest reigning champ in SmackDown history.
And you read off all the accolades, all the championships she has held. Yet for some reason, Bayley still finds herself overlooked.
Ooh, what a forearm club.
Bayley has seen enough. And Bayley hammering away. An endless bombardment from the champion. The challenger has to be rocked. And I think it was you, Byron, who asked Bayley if she changed. And they're going shot for shot. The fight is on, and it's furious.
Slugging away with everything they've got. Two titans trading strikes and refusing to back down. Who will break first? That is the question.
Toe-to-toe, treating each other like heavy bags.
Oof. Just going off with everything they've got now.
atomic drop.
That'll have you walking funny. Get yourself out of harm's way. Great quickness. Roll through. Into the pin.
Great combination.
The challenger fending off the 2 count.
Kicking out now sends a very clear message.
Caught the leg. What a windmill kick.
Get back here. Leg lariat.
And Naomi has taken the upper hand.
Yeah, Naomi's at full throttle.
And now she delivers her back into the ring. Ooh!
What a crossbody.
Taking off from the ropes.
Talk about force. That'll give you whiplash.
Setting her up here.
And here we go. Championship's on the line. Naomi's got Bayley in trouble up on the top rope. This could be Naomi's moment.
Smart move by Bayley, protecting her title and going to the eyes.
Oh, what a kick. Bayley is down and in trouble.
Quick thinking by Naomi, looking to close this one out.
Nobody home. Bayley wisely moves out of harm's way. What's Bayley trying to do here?
What the?
I think Bayley's trying to trap Naomi's legs in Naomi's own shirt.
A great counter by Naomi. Naomi ducks underneath, and we got a standoff. Great match so far.
Well, Bayley thought she had Naomi, but the challenger was ready.
Well, the champion has to find a new strategy.
Calls out the rear view. Oh, we headed towards a title change.
And the cover. Now we did it. We have a new champion.
Here is your winner, and the new SmackDown Women's Champion, Naomi!
Bayley's stranglehold on the SmackDown Women's Championship.
Are you down in the dumps because AI is just everywhere these days? Wish you could just infiltrate a dark, mysterious underground facility run by AI to, you know, shut them down? Well, now you can in Steel Seed, the latest single-player stealth action game where you can infiltrate and parkour your way through a hostile underground facility alongside Kobe, your ride or die flying drone. Let's take a look.
This will be my last entry in this log. They're coming for me. We lost everything. Because of ourselves. The world lies in ruins, and now the future is in her hands. Last hope, or our last threat.
FanFest is presented by Rush of iCore. Learn more at upperdeck.com/iCore.
IGN Plus is where your adventure begins.
What are you selling?
Plus is the place to get unlimited access to all the tools you need to beat your games.
Here's what you need to know for bringing down Gloomspawn.
Plus, awesome exclusive discounts on IGN Store.
Maybe this would tease open your money pouch.
Plus, ad-free browsing on IGN.com. Plus, unlimited game help tools like premium interactive maps with your own custom map markers, filters, marker notes, and more.
This will come in handy.
Plus, access to sweepstakes, giveaways, and free game keys.
Wow!
Exactly. Want more? Head to ign.com/plus and start your adventure today. IGN Store has it all. From clothes and collectibles to vinyl records, accessories, model kits, and action figures from the biggest and best franchises like The Legend of Zelda, Star Wars, Fallout, Dungeons & Dragons, and more. Whatever your pop culture passion, you're guaranteed to find something you love. There are new and exciting products hitting the store every week, like the Wasteland-ready Fallout Vault 33 hoodie, which pairs perfectly with the working wearable Pip-Boy. Plus, high-quality IGN Store exclusives like the powerful and spicy Star Wars Darkside Hot Sauce by Truff. We've even got merchandise for you to rock while tuning in to the IGN shows and podcasts you love. Or cap off a long day by relaxing to the soundtracks of your favorite video games, like Cyberpunk and The Last of Us. And the best part? You don't even need to leave the house to go there. Just head to store.ign.com and start shopping today. The IGN Store. You deserve it.
Have you ever played a hero shooter and thought, man, I really wish I could modify this game with cards? Well, if you have, or if you're looking for something new, then Frag Punk may be just what the doctor ordered. Here to tell us all about Frag Punk is the game's creative director and producer, Shin Chang. Welcome.
Hello, I'm Jin, and I'm very glad to be here to share you some information.
Frag Punk is looking very cool. It's a 5v5 hero shooter with cards that'll switch up the gameplay in all sorts of crazy ways. So was that idea for the cards, was that always in there from the beginning, or were you developing the shooter and somewhere along the way you thought it'd be fun to add the cards?
Yes, the card idea came out at first. When we try to do these games, we try to give you an experience of making different rounds unique. So we want the players to make the rules, to change the rules for each different rounds.
It must be really fun just coming up with different cards for the game. Is that right?
Yes, very fun. Yes, we get ideas from from all your idea in mind. Like you can get that idea from the old movies, from the other from the sports, from the game you played before. Yes, you can get every idea that inspire you. Yes.
And we've seen some pretty crazy cards, like there's a big head mode and a small head mode also. What are some of the weirdest, what are some of the most fun cards that you think are in the game?
We have a card which we call it Homecoming Bullet. That when you hit when you shoot the enemies, boom, when you shoot the enemies and it gets hurt, it will be teleport to his bomb place. Yeah, to his spawn place. Yes. So it's a very interesting card. And some others, like when you throw a gun, the gun will turn into a torrent, or the gun will be turned into a flashbang. Yes, when you throw the gun, and the gun fall on the ground, it become a flash and flash the enemies. Yes.
Does having all these cards present some challenges when you're trying to balance the game?
Yes, card balancing is, I think it's quite difficult. It's very difficult things, but we indeed do many things to try to do the balance. For example, the simple way is we give a cost to the card. Every card has a cost. The weak card costs less money, like cost 1 point or 2 point, and the stronger card maybe cost 4 point to 5 point. So the money you have for the both team is nearly the same. So that's so you have to choose. Like you devote all the money to one stronger card, or you can split the money to two different weaker card. Yes, that's a kind of balance. So that's the first way to do the balance. We use the cost to do the balance. And the second one, we have a rank system. Like our game, we are competitive shooter games, and we have a normal play, we have a quick play, and we have a ranking system. So for the ranking system, we both face the same card. The system will give us 8 cards at the same time. 8 cards in front of us, and for me, I may ban a card, and you ban a card. Then I pick a card, and then you pick a card, and I pick the second card. You pick the second card. So that's a way to make the balance, which means we are facing the same pool, and the rest of the tactics is how we choose the card. That's our second way to try to make the game balance, especially the card balance.
So I believe you've debuted a new character as part of IGN's Fan Fest. Chum is this new character. What can you tell us about Chum?
For our beta test, we have our first inhuman character called Sona, and Chum is the second one. He is also inhuman, so he's made of stone. I think he's a stone robot, and he's a fisher. He likes to fish. He likes to fish. So he has a fish. The fish can do some interesting things. Yes, but the details we can see that when the game is launched. So, but that's the information I can give you. That he's a stone robot and he can fish. He's a fisher. Yes.
Interesting. Sounds like a colorful character. It's not only a new character you've introduced. I think you're also showing a new map that's coming to Frag Punk's release. What can you tell us about the new map?
This new map, I'd like to introduce our design logic of how we made a map or how we made the whole art. No matter our character, but also our not only about our character, but also our map. When we try to decide a new map or decide a new character, a key element is civilizations. Is cultures, is civilizations that we may get the ideas from some civilizations in real life and do some change and make it into our games. Like some of our old maps are from Egypt, are from Maya, are from Viking, like this kind of the cultures. Yes, and our new map is also. He also has a cultural income. We made it from China or Japan or Korea, a combination to make this new map. This map has some gameplay part. The map can move. Some part of the map can move. Yes. So that's a gameplay thing. Yes, gameplay feature of this map.
Very cool. So Frag Punk is out March 6th. It's going to be free to play. Can you share any details on Frag Punk's post-release roadmap?
Our goal is we are going to run the game for quite a long time, and it's because we are competitive shooter games. It's a seasonal online running. Every big season we have it will last for 4 months, and we will divide it the big season into 2 different small seasons. We call it chapters. Like one season has 2 chapters, chapter 1 or chapter 2. So each chapter will last for 2 months. So for every chapter, we will provide you a new lancer, a new hero, a new lancer. And for every big season, every 4 months, we will provide you a new map. So we can say 2 months hero and 4 months a new map. And then for every chapter, we will do a change to the card pool. We may drag some card out of the card pool to make some change, and we will add a new card into our game. So new heroes, new maps, new cards, yes, and some new gameplay, new game mode. Yes, that's our plan. We do the update every. You can see we do the update every chapter. Yes.
Very cool. Well, Frag Punk is looking great. It's looking like it's doing some really unique, cool things that other hero shooters aren't doing. It arrives on Xbox, PlayStation 5, and PC on March 6th. Shen, thank you so much for joining us today. And for all of you viewers out there, be sure to stick around for more IGN Fan Fest.
What's going on, Fan Fest? It's WOW, Women of Wrestling's Sibley Skulls. IGN's celebration of the biggest names in games, movies, and TV continues with tons more exclusive trailers, reveals, and interviews with some of the hottest fandoms out there. Stick around.
FanFest is presented by the Army National Guard. Rise to every challenge and overcome everything. The next greatest generation is now.
The average Cinefix movie list features nearly 100 different films and approximately 25 minutes worth of wall-to-wall deep dive analysis. To simulate that pace for this 30-second ad, we're featuring 26 different films, and before you say it, no, that math does not check out. We're not math people, we're movie people. We can't even count down from 10 without ending up at, like, 96. Subscribe to IGN Movies and TV for more Cinefix movie lists. Bad at math, great at movies.
Can't find that final collectible you're missing? IGN strategy guides and interactive maps are here to help.
One step at a time.
IGN guides are trusted by millions, easy to use, and best of all, free. IGN has the very best, most complete and accurate guides for Shadow of the Erdtree, Baldur's Gate 3, Tears of the Kingdom, and so much more.
See? It's good, right?
Every guide is tested and verified for you by experts. Just search for IGN when you search for guides.
IGN Plus is where your adventure begins.
What are you selling?
Plus is the place to get unlimited access to all the tools you need to beat your games.
Here's what you need to know for bringing down Gloomspawn.
Plus awesome exclusive discounts on IGN Store.
Maybe this would tease open your money pouch.
Plus ad-free browsing on IGN.com. Plus, unlimited game help tools like premium interactive maps with your own custom map markers, filters, marker notes, and more.
This will come in handy.
Plus, access to sweepstakes, giveaways, and free game keys.
Wow! Exactly.
Want more? Head to IGN.com/plus and start your adventure today.
And we're back! This is IGN Fan Fest 2025. Coming up, we've got a block of trailers for games that'll require careful planning, lots of strategic thinking, and a meticulous attention to detail. And also one where you launder money in an actual laundromat. Up first, we've got a look at the latest installment in a long-running RTS series that fans have been waiting a while for. As the saying goes, Rome wasn't built in a day, and something tells me the same applies to strategy games set in ancient Rome. Here's a look at Anno 117 Pax Romana.
Hello, I'm Manuel Reinier, Creative Director at Ubisoft Mainz on Anno. Anno 117 Pax Romana is a premier builder game within the strategy genre, releasing on PC and consoles in 2025. When you start the campaign in Anno 117 Pax Romana, you play as a sibling, Marcus, thrown into the limelight as a Roman provincial governor under the pressure of your family. To prove yourself, you travel to new lands where you will learn to lead and make hard choices. Latium is a province close to the hungry heart of Empire. The people are filled with excitement and hope as you embark on your mission to restore this gem of a province, still recovering from a natural disaster that struck decades ago. But eventually, things go wrong and you are sent in exile to Albion, and you have to prove your mettle in a mysterious place where no civilized Roman wants to be. So, what will you do? How will you maintain stability in this alien province? Will you push the locals toward the civilized Roman way of life, or will you embrace and protect their traditions? You are in the eye of this storm, and as you progress through your journey, you will uncover many new opportunities and challenges, tied closely to the choices you make as a governor in the provinces of the Empire. We will be showing more of the game in April, so stay tuned. But first, a little peek at one of our exciting new features, modular ships. In Anno 117 Pax Romana, you will be able to build and customize your ships depending on your mission. The wind direction will play a role in the game, so let's take advantage of this by adding another sail. This will make our ship more efficient. Or become independent from the forces of nature by installing oars. While human power will make your ship more versatile, it also means you have more mouths to feed and lose additional cargo space. However, Anno is not all sunshines and happiness. As a governor, you will face various challenges, and sometimes a bit of force is necessary to achieve your goals. To add some more punch to your ship, consider installing archer towers. Adding hull reinforcements will boost the armor of your ship, allowing you to take on even more challenging tasks. And for the final module today, let's add a big bang to our ship. Catapults are long-range weapons, powerful enough to deliver deadly blows to enemy ships, as well as structures on islands like towers and walls. So, lead and build your empire through economic growth, diplomacy, or military prowess, and build your fleet to reflect the type of governor you aspire to be. We hope you like this little peek. So stay tuned as Anno 117 Pax Romana will release later this year on PC, PS5 and Xbox Series S and X. Wishlist now to stay up to date. Thank you.
So, you want to be a trailblazer. I know your kind. It's more than a title, you know. It's a calling. To start, you'll want a land ship.
Oh, a new captain. How can I help you?
Then, you'll assemble a crew.
What kind of lost souls will you find? Maybe a soldier escaping her past, or a cook who lost his taste for life. Perhaps a scientist keeping secrets.
At last, you'll look for purpose. And I've got all sorts of contracts to test your mettle. The march, it is alluring. But beware its peace. Beware its mysteries. Beware its gifts.
Inevitably, this heart of yours will change forever.
For this world's true nature always has been veracity. Let the march forge you. Face it with an unbreakable will. Our survival lies in your hands. We all feel the call. But do you have what it takes to answer it? Do you have it? The grit of a trailblazer.
Come on, get that money. 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 Let me stack that money. Money. Come on, get that money. Switch it up.
That was a look at Cash Cleaner Simulator, which could be the most realistic and literal money laundering simulation to date.
Remember to wash your $100 bills in cold water and tumble dry on low. Otherwise, they might shrink and come out as 20s. Up next, we're venturing into unfamiliar territory. Here's some inside info on PlayerUnknown's Prologue.
Those systems will be there. Like I want ecology systems. I want if you kill all the bears in one region, then the deer go nuts. I want these, but these take a long time to get right.
Welcome to IGN Fan Fest. I'm Damon Hatfield. We have a special treat for you today. A few years ago, PlayerUnknown Productions dropped a mysterious teaser for something called Prologue. The team has gone mostly silent since then, showing only a behind-the-scenes video that was light on actual game details and dropping a tech demo called Preface: The Undiscovered World on Steam last year. But the real world is desperate for details on the next game from the creator of PUBG. Joining me today is PlayerUnknown himself, Brendan Green, to talk about Prologue, Go Way Back, Preface, and just what is Project Artemis. Welcome, Brendan.
Thanks so much. Great to be here.
So, Prologue, Go Way Back. Can you clarify exactly what this is? Is it a playable tech demo or is it a full game experience?
So it's a showcase of some tech we're building, but also a simple survival game. It's a survival loop that takes place on a map that changes every time you press play. So it's like a showcase and a test of this terrain tech we've developed, but also an emergent survival game. It's a unique world every time and some simple survival loops. It's a hard game, but it's not trying to reinvent the wheel. This is a survival loop, get from one side of the map to the other side of the map. There's some bad weather and you've got some mechanics to help you survive.
Can you give us some idea of what's the sort of size and scope of the experience?
So it's 8 by 8 kilometers. So you start the other side of the map. It's generally about 6-ish kilometers to get to the weather tower on the other side of the map. Currently about an hour and a half, I think, if you get everything running your way to get across the map. It's a different map every time, so quite unique every time. And yeah, it's exciting to us.
And you also have this demo, Preface: The Undiscovered World. How do Preface and Prologue relate to one another?
So Preface is exploring the scale. Preface is Earth-scale worlds. How do we generate that locally? How do we do that efficiently? And Prologue is looking at the systems we'll add to that world eventually. So it's testing our terrain tech. We have this tech that can generate millions, if not billions, of unique seeds. So creating quite literally unique maps every time you press play. Creating systems on these worlds in this way of doing it in real time requires the systems to be systemic in a way that hasn't really been done before. So we need to test out these systems and make sure that they can scale well when we move it to Earth scale. So Prologue is kind of a test bed for that.
So then there's Artemis. Is Artemis sort of the grand sum of what's being built with Prologue and Preface?
So we have a 3-game plan. So Artemis is like the 3rd game, or the end goal, and that's the Earth-scale worlds with lots of stuff to do, kind of like almost like a civilization MMO, this kind of scale of thing, but not just a game, more just a place to go to. But the 3 games are solving 3 problems. One was terrain. How do you do terrain in real time, locally, so you don't have to send hard drives to people with data. It can all be done quite efficiently. Game 2 is then how do you add a lot of interaction like agents and bots to that world to give players lots of stuff to do and maybe test digital marketplace and ownership. And then game 3 is then adding millions of players to that loop by basically reinventing how you do networking at that scale so we can have millions of players in these worlds interacting together.
So circling back to Prologue, can you elaborate on the survival elements there, or have you learned anything from other survival games out there?
We have combustion, lighting fires, eating food, boiling pots. Nothing really new there, but that's not the purpose. The purpose is to test and prove this new way of creating worlds and kind of building a community and building with the community, because we're discovering sort of new ways of interacting with this world day by day and working with a community to find their feedback and find what systems they'd like to add to the game to sort of make it more enjoyable for them. That's really the goal of Prologue.
Is Prologue about man versus nature, or will other NPCs pose a challenge?
No, it's man versus the weather.
Gotcha.
I wanted a really simple bad guy. And I just felt with AI, with patterns, you just see that. But with weather, it's cold, or it's wet, or it's hailing, or it's freezing. And that's simple, right? That's just a bar going down, and you just got to manage yourself. So for me, that was the easiest way to create a nice survival loop.
Can you give any examples of how players will have to adapt to dynamic weather systems?
You need different layers of clothing. So if it's quite cold, so if you're trying to find the next cabin on your route to the weather tower and suddenly it starts snowing, if you don't have the right clothing, you'll probably die because you'll just get so cold you'll just pass out. So it's quite harsh like that. So, you have to plan your route. You can almost predict the weather by just seeing what's coming in next, seeing the transitions, and trying to make sure you're prepared. You don't end up in the middle of nowhere with nothing to keep you warm.
Is there a release window for Prologue?
We're hoping Q2 this year, but like I don't want to. I'm very hesitant with release dates just because I don't want to put that pressure on the team. We still want to do like a full release in early access, so we do work in that year with the larger community. But right now, we just want to make sure the game's fun.
So speaking of those community playtests, when Prologue arrives in early access, what sort of feedback are you looking for from players?
Where's the fun? Like, what do they want to do? Like, this is 8x8. It's quite beautiful, we think. I've been wandering through the forest myself, and it's you just come across things and you're like, this is really nice. Like, and just thinking of things like maybe we give players a tent so they can just camp on top of a mountain and wait. We found some players just want to have a cozy cabin, right, and just stay in their cabin when the weather goes outside and just see how long they can stay for, right? But yeah, there's no right way to play it, and that's what I really love about the games I want to make.
So Prologue's 8x8. Artemis is supposed to give players an Earth-sized map. Is that right? That's still the goal.
500 million square kilometers, I think.
You mentioned that players are going to be able to work together to hunt, build villages. So it sounds like this is going to be like a large-scale civilization simulator. How far is that accurate?
I say like kind of. So those systems will be there. Okay. Like I want ecology systems. I want if you kill all the bears in one region, then the deer go nuts. I want these, but these take a long time to get right. I just want it to be an open space that you can do this stuff if you want to, but if you just want to wander around and see the world, that's also fine. Like there shouldn't be an enforced way of playing, but if you want to take over a territory and do that, there should be systems there to allow you to do it. But again, this is what we want to work on over the next 10 years to try to figure out what is the best way of creating a digital place, because it's not just a game, it's meant to be just a place, right? Like a 3D internet, a place you can go, and yes, you can play games there, but you can also do a whole lot of other stuff.
In your mind, when are these games set? Are they set in the modern day? Is there electricity?
Oh no, I mean there's a lore there, there's a story I want to tell that's in the background. We won't be revealing it too early, but there'll be hints of it through the games we make. But there is, there's a reason they exist.
You mentioned having AI helpers that can help players gather resources. Yeah. Are these stand-ins for human players, or is the goal to actually get actual real people collaborating together?
Well, it was one of the early ideas I had for how, if you have an Earth-scale world, and even if we can only do maybe 10,000 people or 100,000 people on this world, it's still going to be quite empty. So maybe you don't have a lot of friends, so we give you 4 AI helpers, like in Age of Empires, where you have your woodworker, your metalworker, your scientist, your healer or whatever, and they're just bots that help you do stuff, and maybe you take over a town, and the more humans that you come to the town and build a community, the more AI you have because you get their AI as well. And now with the advances with LLMs and stuff, these these bots can learn a bit about you and become sort of friendly towards you. Now, that's a bit dystopian, a little bit, but again, I just think like, how can we leverage this to create a world that these things do their jobs and take away the resource gathering part, right? So it makes more about exploration and building communities rather than you doing all the work, right? So that's how I imagine at least bots working in the game.
Well, this all sounds incredibly ambitious, and we look forward to learning more about Artemis and Prologue Go Way Back. Thank you, Brendan, for joining me today.
Thanks so much. It'd be a pleasure.
If you want to start tooling around with Melba and get a taste for what Artemis could be, you can download the tech demo for Preface, The Undiscovered World right now, and wishlist Prologue on Steam. And for more incredible FanFest content, stay right here on IGN.
Up next, blitz, brawl, and blaze your way to victory in Mecha Break. But your path to become an ace pilot will be a difficult one, so do you have what it takes? Let's find out. Presented by Mecha Break. Open beta available now on PC and Xbox with crossplay. Mecha Break made its debut at the Game Awards 2023 and since has continued to gain traction with other notable appearances at Summer Game Fest, Xbox Game Showcase, and Gamescom. And with the new open beta out now, we have none other than CEO of Amazing Season Games, Chris Kwok, here to tell us all about it. Hey Chris.
Hello, 各位驾驶员们，大家好，我是 Mecha Break 制作人 Chris。
So Mecha Break is coming out soon, which is super exciting. But for those who aren't aware, can you give us a quick rundown of what Mecha Break is?
Mecha Break 是一款近未来科幻机甲主题的动作射击对战游戏。那游戏上线呢，我们会有3种玩法模式，分别是6v6边缘战场、3v3王牌序列以及 PVP-V1 战术撤离模式 Matchmake。玩家作为 王牌驾驶员，可以体验作战风格各异的机兵。那当前呢，我们正在这个 Steam 和 Xbox 进行开放测试，欢迎大家前来体验。
What makes Mecha Break unique in the multiplayer mech genre?
首先，在战斗设计上来讲的话，其实我们花了很多的时间和精力去打磨每台机甲的手感。为了让每台机甲呢都具备自己的特色，那也需要满足它的硬核的操作感，还有玩法乐趣，以及需要有很强的视觉冲击力。那Mecha Break 来讲的话，我们在游戏的平衡性上面来讲的话，和这些特色设计中还要找到一个中间的平衡点。所以说我们在机甲设计上做了很多的突破。每台机甲来讲的话呢，都但求它有一个非常独特的一个设计和造型。那有的机甲来讲的话呢，我们主打的是厚重感。那希望来讲的话是每一拳、每一炮，甚至每一个移动来讲的话呢，都让玩家能感受到那种真实的移动反馈和打击反馈。有的机甲来讲的话呢，我们又需要有极高的机动性，无论是机甲的这个变形的飞行呢，还是它的这个 shift 的冲刺，那每一个动作来讲的话，我们都需要让玩家体验到驾驶机甲的这种速度的刺激感。那同时来讲的话呢，每台机甲在战场上的定位和玩法呢，也会是完全不一样的。玩家可以选择近战机甲，在前线来讲的话可以扛伤害，用大口径的武器碾压对手，也可以选择突进型的机甲，依靠高速的机动力来讲的话，在战场中游走，寻找突破口。那这种战术的选择来讲的话呢，是希望能让每一个玩家都能找到自己属于自己的战斗风格吧。最后来讲的话，我们的战场设计来讲也是非常独特的，与传统的竞技场来讲的话是完全不同的。那主打机甲突围的这个 PVPVE 的战场，也就是刚刚提到的这个 Matchmake 啊，我们主打的是一个开放自由，需要玩家来讲的话有很多的战术选择。那在场景中的这个高度差、掩体、动态的场景机制，那很多的这些元素来讲的话，都会影响玩家的这个战斗胜负。希望每一场战斗来讲的话呢，都是非常独特的一个挑战给玩家。
Now, you've already had a successful open beta back in August. Since then, what has the Mecha Break team been up to?
我们进行了相当多的更新，重要的是我们发布了一个叫 Matchmake 的新的撤离玩法模式，就是刚刚提到的 PVPVE 模式，也增加了这个玩法中的载具和空投武装。大家现在就可以在 Steam 和 Xbox 的开放测试中体验到。另外，我们迭代了6v6和3v3的地图设计，增加了非常多的细节，同时也为部分机甲准备了全新的武器装备与战术撤离的这个载具。那在上次测试中，我们也看到玩家非常喜爱的机甲和角色的自定义，我们也开放了更多的外观供大家选择和使用。
The Mecha Break Open Beta is out and live right now. What would you say are the most exciting updates that have been added to this version of the game?
总体上来讲，我们收到了很多玩家来自各个方面的非常积极的反馈吧。那很多来讲的话是关于机甲平衡性的反馈。这回来讲的话，在测试中来讲的话，很多的机甲来讲，我们都做了平衡性的一个调整。那包括了我们比较大的，我们重置了赤鞘的几个武装，那让赤鞘来讲的话呢，更具备一个战场的突破能力。那现在赤鞘是一个完全不一样的赤鞘。还有就是阿奎拉，那阿奎拉来讲的话呢，作为一个空中狙击手定位来讲的话呢，我们也重置了2个武装，那让阿奎拉来讲的话呢，更在空中来讲的话更具备这个压迫力和打击感。所以说呢，现在玩家来讲的话，可以在版本中体现完全不一样的全新平衡。
What does the future of Mecha Break look like? Do you have seasonal content and future updates already planned?
没错，游戏呢我们会采取赛季制，那每次的赛季更新呢都会是大更新，我们会带来全新的机甲、新的部件。我们希望来讲的话，玩家在每个赛季都能体现到一些新鲜感，同时来讲的话呢，让玩家去探索不同的机甲组合，带来新的玩法。那关于未来更新，其实我们已经有了一些机甲的储备。那同时来讲的话呢，很多的内容来讲的话呢，也在规划和制作中。那今年呢，我们会为大家介绍更多的新机甲。
Now, the last open beta revealed that Mecha Break features a story. What can you tell us about that?
上次测试反馈中，我们注意到有非常多的玩家非常关注 Mecha Break 世界观，我们也收到非常多期待世界观内容的一些问题。那所以说，在未来我们希望能在这个世界里面来讲的话，讲述更多的关于游戏里面的故事。那不仅仅是让玩家去只是驾驭机甲去战场里面战斗，那我们也希望玩家来讲的话，能去更多的去了解这个世界。目前其实叙事部分来讲分成2部分，一部分来讲的话呢是游戏类的剧情，那这部分来讲的话，我们会把它浓缩在游戏新手教学关卡的几10分钟里边。那这里面来讲的话呢，我们是通过这个教学关 除了告诉你操作之外，我们还会告诉你你是谁，为什么要战斗等等，还有这个世界里面来讲的话最基础的矛盾冲突。那除此之外来讲的话呢，我们也会通过玩家获取机甲、玩家获取机师、玩家在我们这次开放的3D 的格拉库中，也会能寻找到这个世界观大量的背景信息。那除此之外来讲的话呢，就是在游戏外，我们会通过小说、漫画、动画等等来讲的话呢，去更多的演绎我们的游戏的精彩的故事内容。
Now tell us a little bit about the progression system in the game. What does upgrading and customizing your mech look like?
其实玩家在解锁机甲的瞬间已经获得了其完整的属性，那所有东西都已经给玩家了。那我们来讲的话呢，还拥有额外的2个路线可以帮助玩家来讲的话更加丰富和 DIY 他们的这个机甲。那首先来讲，第一个是改建系统，那玩家可以通过改建来讲的话呢，对自己的机甲来讲的话进行一定性能上的一个调整，那这个有点像赛车的改装一样。那比如说玩家来讲的话，可以比如说提升一下引擎的出力，然后等等这些。那举个例子吧，在游戏里面例子，比如说像毛隼，我们可以通过某个改件提升毛隼的飞行速度，但同样来讲的话呢，也会导致能量槽的上限降低。对，所以说它是一正一负的。那另外来讲的话呢，就是在马斯马克的这个模式里面来讲的话，玩家是可以带入一些空投的补给的。那这个空投补给呢，包括了像飞行踏板，对，那替换机甲的武装货柜空投，一些辅助装置这些。那玩家怎么获这些装置呢？玩家需要在马斯马克这个模式里面来讲的话呢，把这个模式打出来的战利品来讲的话，成功顺利带出去。对，那这样子的话呢，玩家就可以在下一次升级之后来讲的话呢，把这些武装来讲重新带回到马斯马克。那除此之外来讲的话呢，还有就是自定义方面，玩家可以获得油漆、贴花、徽章等等来去个性化他们的机甲。那游戏运用了这个机械建模的技术啊，其实我们把一台机甲拆分的非常细。那玩家可以在这个每台机甲上来讲的话呢，足够细致的去对每一个部件的每一个色块进行 DIY。Mecha
Break focuses on competitive PvP in addition to its other modes. What features can competitive players look forward to? Will there be ranked modes or tournaments?
目前游戏中玩家可以玩到的这个6v6的战场玩法里边来讲的话，是一个有排名的天梯玩法。那这个来讲的话是衡量玩家水平的。那当然了，为了保证我们的平衡性，那我们也会增加一个叫做玩家的声誉系统。那这个声誉系统来讲的话，是确保玩家来讲的话呢，是能更好、更公平的。那比如说，我们会在游戏里面来讲的话呢，监控这个游戏中开小差啊等负面的这种问题和反馈。那并且来讲的话呢，会实时给予处罚。那这套体系来讲，其实也是为了我们未来来讲的话，能开放更有竞技性的一些赛事。那这种赛事来讲的话呢，其实未来我们会开放积分赛、大区赛和全球的电竞赛事。那这些高规格的比赛里面来讲的话呢，我们会加入 ban pick， 然后呢，同时来讲的话也会屏蔽改建对这些额外的数值属性。那其实来讲的话，我们会希望Mecha Break 来讲的话呢，是能兼容好休闲玩家和竞技玩家的。对，那也很开心啊，就可以介绍一下，下个月我们在中国珠海会举办一场来自中国、日本和北美的电竞团队和社区玩家共同参与的邀请赛敬请大家期待一下。
Takayuki Yanase and Junya Ishigaki, who have previously worked on numerous entries in the Gundam franchise, were the mech designers for this game. What was the creative process of working with them like?
与两位老师在过去几年的合作里面来讲的话是非常愉快的。其实老师参与了部分机甲的原案设计，他们独特的机甲美学来讲，其实为 Mecha Break 注入了不同的机甲风格。
Now, before we go, what would you like to say to players that are looking to get their hands on Mecha Break?
要做好像 Mecha Break 这样一款游戏的话，我认为最重要是要热爱。非常幸运的是 Mecha Break 的开发团队是一群机甲铁粉。那我们深深着迷于炫酷的机甲设计和精彩的战斗体验，所以说，我们制作 Mecha Break 的同时来讲的话，也是为了追求我们自己的机甲梦想，也是我们对全球热爱机甲的用户的 love letter。我们的 Open Beta Test 现在已经开启了，欢迎各位驾驶员前来体验。
Chris, thank you so much for joining me to chat through the future of Mecha Break.
Thank you to IGN and our players. Go enjoy the Mecha Break Open Beta 啦。
Mecha Break's open beta is available right now on PC and Xbox with crossplay, and you can look forward to the full release this spring with seasonal content and future updates to follow shortly after. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more IGN Fan Fest.
What's up, IGN Fan Fest? It's 1/3 of your history-making, groundbreaking, earth-shaking trio champions. Top tier's very own heavy hitter, Candy Crush from WoW Women of Wrestling. And instead of knocking your lights out in the ring today, I'm here for you, the fans, in celebration of all the things you love, right here on Fan Fest. Let's go!
FanFest is presented by Mecha Break. Open beta available now on PC and Xbox with crossplay.
The Cinefix Top 100. A list so secretive even we don't know what movies are on it or where they rank.
What do you mean you don't know?
Each episode will reveal one of the movies.
Did I rush it? Felt like I rushed. That was good. I liked it.
Talk about why it belongs and finally find out where it ranks.
Are you not entertained?
Are any of the movies we've shown here even on the list? I have no idea, and it drives me crazy. Join us as we find out on Cinefix, IGN, and wherever you get your podcasts.
Why so serious?
IGN Plus is where your adventure begins.
What are you selling?
Plus is the place to get unlimited access to all the tools you need to beat your games.
Here's what you need to know for bringing down Gloomspawn.
Plus awesome exclusive discounts on IGN Store.
Maybe this would tease open your money pouch.
Plus ad-free browsing on IGN.com. Plus, unlimited game help tools like premium interactive maps with your own custom map markers, filters, marker notes, and more.
This will come in handy.
Plus, access to sweepstakes, giveaways, and free game keys.
Wow! Exactly.
Want more? Head to IGN.com/plus and start your adventure today.
Can't find that final collectible you're missing? IGN strategy guides and interactive maps are here to help.
One step at a time.
IGN guides are trusted by millions, easy to use, and best of all, free. IGN has the very best, most complete and accurate guides for Shadow of the Erdtree, Baldur's Gate 3, Tears of the Kingdom, and so much more.
See? It's good, right?
Every guide is tested and verified for you by experts. Just search for IGN when you search for guides.
And we're back. This is IGN Fan Fest right here on IGN. This week it's all about celebrating the stuff we love, like games, movies, shows, collectibles, and comics. But sadly, two things we don't get to celebrate are tabletop games and snacks. But that doesn't mean we don't love them. In fact, we have some really cool ones up on the IGN store right now. If you're hungry, we've teamed up with Assassin's Creed Shadows to put together an exclusive snack box filled with treats from Japan, plus some collectibles you won't find anywhere else.
If you're in the mood for an analog activity, how about a round of Gwent? The monstrously addictive deck builder introduced in The Witcher has been faithfully recreated as a physical card game. It includes everything you need to play, including 443 cards, rulebooks, scorekeeping tokens, and even a coin to flip to see who goes first.
Head over to store.ign.com and treat yourself to one of these or the hundreds of other items on sale like collectibles, vinyl soundtracks, t-shirts, gear, and more.
Coming up next, we've got a look at a Dungeons & Dragons game that'll have you rolling steel balls instead of dice, and still to come, a brand new look at Assassin's Creed Shadows gameplay.
But first, the folks at Cracked have been behind some very cool and very collectible gaming hardware over the years, and we got some front row seats to check out their newest peripheral. Let's take a look.
that was your first look at Crack's brand new guitar controller, the latest in a line of fine gaming gear from the company. Here to tell us more and to give us a world first demo of the controller are Jack Ginchard from Crack and Alec, aka Asai.
How's it going?
I've never met someone on the leaderboards in Fortnite Festival, and you're here.
He's here in the
studio.
flesh, dude.
This is so exciting. I cannot wait to talk about these guitars. Please tell me everything about this.
So this is an exclusive first look and pre-order launch of the officially licensed Les Paul guitar controller. We're essentially bringing back the Gibson guitar controller into the gaming space. And I say bring back because all those years ago when Guitar Hero started, from GH1 all the way through GH5, the same team that created these guitar controllers created those. So even though Cracked is a relatively new brand, our core product development team is all ex-Red Octane folks. So we've essentially taken everything that people loved about the original guitar controllers and continued to innovate and really push the boundaries of what a guitar controller can be in 2025, from taking feedback from community folks like Asai and really trying to make something special for today's gamers.
Yeah, I'm really excited because I think a lot of people have been waiting ever since, you know, Fortnite Festival dropped. Like, music games are in a comeback. I see two beautiful Cracked guitar controllers here. What are the differences between these two?
Like you said, you got two guitar controllers right here. The first one is the LP Black Tribal Encore Edition, and Encore is essentially our base edition. Then you got LP Blueberry Burst, which is our Pro Edition, and there's a couple things that differentiate the two, mainly being the strum bar and how that functions, but also the fret buttons.
What is different about the strum bar?
So on the Encore editions, you're going to find that standard mechanical strum. You expect a click from it. You're going to have standard fret buttons. But on the Blueberry Burst Pro edition, you're going to have a new strum bar, which is Hall effect technology with haptic feedback. And then you're also going to have mechanical frets. Both editions are made in a modular way where you can disconnect the neck. And we're going to have swappable necks, which you can upgrade. We'll have different styles and designs, some with standard frets, some with mechanical frets, and like I said, different styles. And that just kind of plays into the style and personal preference and really trying to cater to all gamers.
So you're going all in. When you guys released like the little 5-fret attachment for the Neo S, I was like, oh, I mean, that's fun. And then...
Dude, this is really on the back end of that, right? Because we had our Neo S 5-fret attachment, which is our standard smaller controller. Again, designed by the same in-house team that brought these to life. And yeah, this is just a perfect segue, dropping that and then bouncing to this and hopefully leaping into the future.
Yeah, because of you guys, like, we're really making this mainstream again. And it's very exciting to be able to have this, especially mobile, and they're so light. Am I allowed to touch it?
Yeah, you can touch it. But it's not. But it's also not just us, right? It goes again back to the community and the people that kept the genre alive, creators like Asai and games that keep it going. So we wouldn't be able to do this without them, and this is really just a byproduct of taking our experience with our product development team and meshing it together with community feedback and really trying to create and push the boundaries of what a guitar controller can be in 2025.
Alec, what are you most excited for with these coming into the world in your playthroughs?
The most exciting thing about these guitars is how easy it's going to be set up with every type of game that everybody's playing now, whether it be Clone Hero or Yard, just going to be plug and play.
Yeah, and that's one thing we didn't touch on, right? Because there's a mode dial down here, and there's a platform slider. The platform slider allows you to seamlessly go between PC, Switch, mobile. You also have this mode dial, which remaps the inputs to make it plug and play. So you got a general mode, you've got PEX for different difficulties and modes in Fortnite Festival. So you don't really have to spend the time to remap everything. It's really just plug it in, turn it, and play.
Yeah, that's one of my critiques of Fortnite Festival, is that it is sort of hard to switch between difficulty, and the fact that it's built in there is such a nice touch. Will this controller work with like Guitar Hero, Rock Band, kind of like on the newer side of the consoles?
Yeah, so on this platform slider here, you've got PC, Switch, Android, and you got another mode called P3. And this makes the guitar backwards compatible with some Guitar Hero and Rock Band games on select platforms. Of course, we'll release a list of an in-depth chart of everything that this thing's capable of and compatible with, because I mean, the list goes on and on. So you kind of got two editions. They're separated by a feature set, but the remaining of the features are essentially the same.
And do you want to walk us through kind of the controls? Because Alec, you are holding a guitar ready to go. We're talking like it is hooked up. It's wireless. It's got a lithium-ion battery in there. You can put, AA batteries in there.
It's got the Pro Edition. And there's 3 different ways you can connect. You can play wired mode. Comes with a long wire with a top lock, so you can connect it and lock it into the guitar. So if you're walking around, it's not going to come out. You can connect via wireless with a 2.4 gigahertz wireless dongle that comes in the box. Both the wired and the wireless dongle, they're going to unlock rapid polling rates for enhanced performance and lower latency. And you can also connect via Bluetooth as well for more casual play.
I love that. I travel a lot for work, and so I'm very excited that I can just pair that to my iPad and play on cloud gaming.
Yeah, for sure. And one thing that's really cool about this guitar controller is the fact that it's so easy to navigate. Essentially, you've got every single button that you would find on a typical controller on the guitar. So you've got this navigation hub with 8 face buttons, your 8 B, X, Y trigger buttons. You've got a left analog stick, which has Hall effect technology.
Wow.
You have a right analog stick with an authentic knob design. Then you also have a D-pad behind the headstock.
Oh, very nice. Alec, I'd love to see you kind of start playing, but before we do, I would love your first impressions of the guitar controller. What do you like about it? How does it feel? How easy are the buttons to use?
Yeah, so my favorite guitar shape when I was growing up playing this game was the Les Paul shape. And so with this coming back, I know a lot of people are going to love this too. The buttons feel great. I think the lights on the neck are fantastic. It corresponds to which buttons you're pressing in what order. And the strum bar feels like a strum bar from the future.
On this Pro Edition, you have the Hall effect strum bar. And Hall effect technology you're kind of seeing come into the gaming industry with Hall effect thumbsticks and controllers, now with mechanical switches and keyboards. And in this case, it's in a strum bar. So not only do you get kind of that longevity and durability of the technology, but you have that customizability of being able to adjust the actuation point of your strum, adjust the haptic feedback, and all of that's adjustable within our mobile companion app as well. So there's lots of tools at your fingertips to kind of make playing on this thing a breeze.
And then the nerds like me, we can just go into the app, tap our phone on here, adjust when we need to adjust. It's a dream guitar. Like, it really is.
Oh man, we'd love to see you start playing. And while you do that, Alec, you mentioned up top, there's a lot of history with this guitar controller because of the team behind it. Why now? Why make a guitar controller in 2025?
I think it always comes back to the community, right? I mean, over the years, you've seen games come out, community games, obviously Fortnite Festival like we're playing now, Clone Hero, Yarg, creators keeping the space alive that kind of continue to push content in this space. And, you know, I think it's time, you know, I think history repeats itself and it comes full circle.
Yeah.
And, like I said, even though Crack's a relatively new brand, that rhythm in our DNA runs deep. And, you know, I think it's a perfect time, you know.
So this is an official collaboration with Gibson. How did that come about? Did you guys set out to work with them?
They were there from the very beginning with the SG, GH1. And this was kind of just that natural step. We knew we were bringing in a guitar controller to market. Once we kind of teased it in December, everything kind of just unraveled and things got to moving and we're here to announce this. And we couldn't be happier, you know?
Now, Alec, it's only been a couple minutes and you're almost at 5 stars here. Tell us how you are feeling right now as you absolutely shred in the studio.
It feels great. It feels so good to play on. And the low latency with the wireless dongle is fantastic.
I'm so sorry I made you answer during the hardest part of that song. And you did not mess up at all.
Emote.
Oh, yeah, we good. There you go.
Now, we're all so excited for this guitar to come out. What are the launch plans? When can we expect to see this? What versions, what are we looking at to get it?
Yeah, so like we said, it's an exclusive first look and we're launching pre-orders today.
Today?
Today,
I gotta
right now.
get my phone and order it.
You got the Encore and Pro for multi-platform. Then you got the Xbox versions of these. They're available for pre-order right now, but also they're expected to ship currently in June 2025. So that's just around the corner.
Everyone go check out all that information on IGN, on Cracked. It's going to be so great. Pre-orders open today, and we have a launch window of June 2025, which I'm already circling that in my calendar.
You can visit crack.gg right now, place your pre-order, and expect them to start shipping in 2025, June.
Jack, Alec, thank you both so much for coming into the studio. Pre-orders are open right now for Crack's new guitars, and they're expected to ship in June this year. We've got a lot more Fan Fest for you, so don't go anywhere.
Hey everyone, behold, the brand new Dungeons & Dragons The Tyrant's Eye premium machine from Stern Pinball is right here in front of me in the IGN office-cade. It has a bunch of new, cool pen and paper RPG-inspired elements crammed into it, including a cool dragon toy and Pinball's first roguelite mode, a dungeon crawler mode that's really cool. Okay, grab a flagon and let's check out this dragon. Wrath the Relentless is the centerpiece of D&D's playfield. Wrath is an animatronic roving dragon head that follows the ball around the playfield and is tied to one of the game's multi-ball modes, Dragon Multi-Ball. He's also voiced by Michael Dorn, Worf of Star Trek The Next Generation fame. He taunts, he roars, and he barfs pinballs.
Come here, tasty traveler.
Speaking of which, D&D has a whopping 8 pinballs under the hood. Most games only have 4 or 5, so multi-ball can get quite chaotic. To get it going, bash Wrath's targets just below his head and spell Dragon. The multi-ball mode can then be started by shooting the right loop. This is an easy multi-ball in theory, but bashing the dragon is actually pretty risky, as the ball tends to bounce back fast and sometimes straight down the middle between your flips. To help with that, there's a shield feature. The central lock bar button sends a metal deflector out of the playfield between the flippers, saving you from straight down the middle drains. This is nice to use while going for risky shots like those dragon targets, but also fun to throw up during multi-ball to just see how many pinballs you can amass on your flippers. It's amazing. Over on the right is the interactive gelatinous cube toy. This is D&D's less flashy and more fleshy antagonist. By looping the left shot a few times, you can lodge balls in the blue goo, and after you've locked 2, you can release them for a gelatinous cube multi-ball. So we've talked about the dragons, let's talk dungeons. Dungeon mode can be qualified by hitting 2 stand-up targets and then hitting the dice spinner. This pops up an entrance to the dungeon from the playfield. Shoot that, and you'll enter a first-person dungeon crawler on the HD screen. Shoot shots to advance the dungeon, and occasionally you can choose a path with the flippers as well. While dungeon crawling, you may encounter monsters, which can be dealt with by shooting red shots to damage them, HP, life bars, and all. You may find a trap, or you may find an exit stairway with accompanying points to boot.
You went down a hall and see 2 doors. You found an exit and received a bonus.
The dungeon is not only confusing in its own right, with twisty little passages all alike, it is also randomized, making this a bit of a pinball roguelite mode. However, if connected to the internet, you will actually play the same dungeon instance as all other connected players around the world, until it changes on Sunday each week. Dungeons are not the only RPG adventuring D&D pinball offers. There's also modes you can select from that have you exploring and traveling around the map, placed prominently in the playfield's center. If you happen across a spooky abandoned farm, for example, you can explore it with shots. Although, similar to the dungeon, wolves or owlbears or zombies, all straight from the monster manual, might appear to attack you. Again, you can take them out by shooting red shots. If you have the Stern Insider Connected app, you can do several cool things. First off, you can save your progress. Log in and choose your character to carry over your stats, gold, and gear, along with your campaign progress. It's a really cool single-player concept that matches the RPG vibe. Stern Insider Connected allows your high scores to be shared and displayed in an arcade or online. As you can see here, we made an office leaderboard for X-Men and D&D. Guess who's the grand champion? Even though we spent a few days playing Dungeons & Dragons The Tyrant's Eye, it feels like we've just scratched the surface of what it has to offer. With unseen modes and new areas of the map to explore, it's actually really fun to explore it solo. But as they say, it's always more fun to play with friends. And all the single-player progress can be toggled off for a classic tournament experience. Thank you so much for joining us for a tour of Stern's D&D machine. I hope you get a chance to play it in an arcade near you soon. Or you can buy one for your home if you save up your GP. For more pinball fun, check out our unboxing of Jaws and James Bond. For everything else pinball, keep flipping with IGN.
Assassin's Creed Shadows finally brings the long-running series to the sought-after setting of feudal Japan and follows the intertwined lives of Naoe, a shinobi assassin, and Yasuke, a powerful samurai. Together, the two will navigate the violent Sengoku period of Japan and usher in a new era. Joining me to talk about Assassin's Creed Shadows is game director Charles Benoit. Charles, welcome.
Hi.
Nice to meet you all.
Yeah, thank you so much for joining me. So let's get right into it. I want to talk about progression today. Progression, gear, loot, all that fun stuff. So new to Shadows is the mastery and knowledge systems that you use to unlock new skills and abilities. How does that work?
Yeah, you can compare the mastery and the knowledge to a bit the philosophy of body and mind, if you know what I mean. So each time you accomplish something, leveling up, killing like high-level target and stuff like that, you will gain those mastery points. Those points can be spent in the mastery menu to acquire new skill and abilities that you can map. The knowledge, it's something a bit different. You need to do activities in the world, such as doing meditation or exploring temples to find lost page. And you will gain those knowledge points that will make you rank up and then unlock new things that you can purchase with your mastery point.
Very cool. One thing I was a little bit struck by is the ability to respec at any point. So you invest in all of your knowledge and mastery and you build into a certain play style, but you have the ability to respec on the fly at no cost, is it? And if so, or if there isn't, is there any particular play style you're kind of fond of for each character, yourself personally?
Yeah, we want to be more generous, and the fact that now we have the different trees split for different weapons. It's kind of cool to just try a weapon and how we can max up all the skills and abilities, and then you get this new Kusarigama, for example, and then you want to try all the things the Kusarigama can do. So you can respect and try the other one. Personally, it depends on which character I'm playing. But with Naui, I'm the kind of guy that max out the assassin and the shinobi tree quite a lot.
Yeah, back is the new dual assassination, which is very exciting.
Hey.
So if a player has the ability to respec at any time, could a player then make a more like combat-centric Naui who would still enjoy the acrobatic gameplay features that make her unique? If so, how do you kind of balance incentivizing players to opt for a playstyle of their choice while still recognizing that there are two protagonists that kind of encourage two different play styles? Is there do you encourage people to swap over at any point to Yasuke or Naoe because only they can complete a mission?
That's a pretty good question, and that's the hard part with balancing this game, because we always want Naoe and Yasuke feel different from each other. You can see it if we put it on on a bar. The center would be a no-go for both. So yes, Naoe will be pretty strong in combat if you try to map all the best abilities and have the gear that boost a different type of stat that is useful for a fight. But she will never cross the point where she's better than Yasuke. Yasuke, as default, have more adrenaline bar, more health, more armor, so he will always feel a lot stronger in combat.
So simply getting enough points to unlock the final ability in every single mastery tree isn't as easy as it would be kind of building up to the mastery tree. They require some unique modifiers and unlocks in order to actually unlock those things. So for example, what do you need to do to get the final assassination upgrade?
So the tree, in the end, you need to have a lot of knowledge ranks. So you need to kind of explore the world and participate in some activities to obtain them. They also cost more in term of mastery points, so you need to kill multiple target, level up. So it can take quite a while. And we lock also some of the end game abilities under specific group of target to kill. So I can give you an example, but to assassinate with all the chunk, all the possibility, you need to kill all the God Eye Shinobi. It's a special group of Shinobi, and once you kill them, you acquire the knowledge necessary to obtain this kill.
To talk a little bit about the assassination portion, are guaranteed assassinations back, or is it all locked to kind of power progression and scaling?
We offer the option if you want to just just assassinate everyone, you can use the option, but it's not the way we intend you to play. We made the system that I feel it's quite fun, honestly, because you have perks that is linked to different type of gear piece or weapon that allow you to assassinate with more chunk, but also in more different like situation. For example, you can have a perk that boosts your air assassination. So if this guy is too strong, you need to look around. Okay, maybe I will use this rooftop to assassinate the guy. We have other that if you are at night, you are stronger in your assassination. So when the night comes, it's best to use that way and do those things. So it makes you kind of change the way you play and look a bit more at the environment to play with the assassination.
Now, based on the caliber of your previous open world RPG Assassin's Creed games, it seems like there's going to be a lot to do in Assassin's Creed Shadows. So let's talk a little bit about endgame. Again, no spoilers here, but what awaits players who've maxed out all of their mastery and knowledge trees? What is there to do with an endgame build?
We have all those trees that takes a while to fill up, but after you maxed out the rank to be able to access all the tree, we unlock a specific menu that we call the knowledge tree. So this one offer a lot of variety in terms of stats that you can boost. So with your point that you will still get from high level castle where you need to assassinate those samurai daisho that you need to be high level to go there. Once you got the mastery point, you can spend them in the knowledge rank to boost things like with my posture now are more deadly, or depending on the way you play, you can min and max and min the numbers to really make sure that you are strong in the way you want to play.
Yeah, it seems like you're really incentivizing people to just reinforce their play style, which is really fun. But now let's talk a little bit about loot. One of my personal favorite parts of all of the open world RPG Assassin's Creed games is just the staggering amount of gear you throw at all the players. And not only that, their cosmetic reflection on the player character. It's a beautiful attention to detail that I love to just try on new armors, try on new weapons, just to see if one, they get me the power scaling I need, and two, gotta look good. So a question about the actual rarities. You know, you've got your common, you've got your uncommon, your rare loot, but let's talk a little bit about epic and legendaries. How do they differ from one another?
Yeah, legendary are really special. They are more handcrafted. They are specific to like high level targets or the castle. So we have like 30 castle, and each of them have a specific gear piece with those special perks that are modifying the gameplay in a different way. So it again changed the way you want to fight, or the way you want to assassinate because of those perks. I will give you an example of a cool combat perk that I really like. So when you have this legendary Naginata, you can now parry unstoppable attacks. So each time you have a big brute with those red attack, now you can deal with it with this Naginata. But of course, you need to upgrade it and to keep it up to your level if you want to play with that on the long run.
I love it. You're saying all the right things. Is there transmog in the game?
Yes. So as soon as you have the Forge unlocked, we have the transmog that is now available for free for sure. So each time you got a new weapon, it also unlocked the transmog. One of the cool thing we did to represent the craftsmanship of Japanese culture, it's to push it a bit further. So if you get a couple of katana, you will have access to like deep transmog, if I would say. So you can mix and match the different part of your katana. So if you like the blade of this one with the hilt, or the guard of this one, you can really mix and match all those things together.
Now, that's obviously cosmetic, and thankfully you don't have to sacrifice substance over style in this particular instance, but are there actually like statistical benefits to mixing and matching the katana blades with the blade guards?
No, we kept the because it starts to be complex if you have stat attached to different part. So it's purely cosmetic. However, there is always a good advantage to look at the stat and mix and match, like this helmet with this outfit and this katana. There is synergy that you can create where if I take back my example of the perfect parry that can now block unstoppable, we can combine it to a perk that inflict damage on parry, and another one that if you parry successfully, you have a free posture without charging afterwards. So you can create those kind of loop where it changes the way you want to play.
That's awesome. Do other weapons feature this mix and matching, or is this strictly limited to the katana?
No, each weapon have a really different thing, and we even dig a bit more with the specialty of each weapon. For example, the Kanabo is is a really, really strong weapon, but it's kind of slow. But with the different perk and abilities you can unlock, you can bypass some of the frame to charge up. You can also have a perk that you won't be interrupted if you strike some combos. So if you try to think this way and mix and match, you can just go on the strength of the weapon or palliate to the weakness of the different weapon.
Your team's trying to eat up all my free time, but this sounds amazing. So talk to me a little bit about gear perks. How do those work?
With the rarity of the gear, you can have no perk at the beginning. So you start slowly with just learning about the stats and how they work. And after that, once you have I think it's the rare one, you have a perk by default, but it's a perk that will boost different type of stats. And at the specific rarity, you have another slot that will open. This slot is a free slot, so you can engrave any second perk you want. This thing is available, of course, if you upgrade your forge in the hideout. But that's the advantage of getting multiple type of weapon, because you collect those type of perks that you can then engrave, and now you can go a bit deeper with the mix and match the different thing you want.
That's awesome. One thing I noticed at the end of the PC features trailer that your team just released is the very end of it, in the kind of holding card that your team developed. It said that the Claws of Awaji expansion, not DLC, expansion specifically called out, is 10 plus hours long. Is there anything you can kind of tease about that?
Well, I can tell you a bit what was already said, but yes, it's the island of Awaji. So yes, there is quest. You will continue your story. You will continue in building your character, and we announced that we have the bow that you will be able to use. So that's pretty fun, because it's adding a whole new things for your progression and abilities and stuff like that. So a lot more to progress and refresh your experience.
But before we go, Charles, is there anything you wanted to kind of leave the audience with ahead of Assassin's Creed Shadows?
I can't wait to see players like creativity with Shadows, and seeing how they use Naoe, how they use Yasuke, how they use everything we did. And there is so much combination that we didn't even think about, so we're always surprised. I remember on Odyssey seeing like some crazy mix and match, and I was like, oh, okay, someone think about that. So yeah, I can't wait to see how player will surprise me on Shadows.
Charles, thank you so much for joining me. Assassin's Creed Shadow is available March 20th on Xbox Series X and S, PlayStation 5, PC, and the App Store.
That was day 4 of IGN Fan Fest. Thank you so much for joining us, but don't worry, there's still one more day left.
Coming up tomorrow, we've got brand new looks at some of the biggest and most anticipated upcoming movies and shows. We'll be finding out what's in store for upcoming seasons of ongoing shows like Mythic Quest and The White Lotus, getting a look at how Daredevil Born Again is resurrecting one of the most beloved Marvel series, and also checking out Novocaine and Mickey 17. 2 upcoming movies about guys getting seriously hurt many times over.
And on that note, our studio crew has been working very hard to make IGN Fan Fest possible, so we're going to call it a day before anybody gets hurt. A huge thanks to everyone working behind the scenes, making this production come together, and an equally large thanks to everyone watching from home.
Tomorrow is the final day of IGN Fan Fest 2025, so we'll see you back here or wherever you're watching at 10 a.m. Pacific time.
FanFest is presented by War Robots Frontiers. Pre-register now for an exclusive reward.
Welcome to Geek Media, a brand new podcast network from IGN Entertainment, where we celebrate games.
Time to begin our Game of the Year.
Tech.
Do the same results at 20 watts.
And entertainment.
Welcome to IGN Live.
We connect you with the stories, voices, and topics you love.
I love Soul Calibur. Banger fighting game series. I wish it would come back.
Geek Media is an ever-growing collection of some of the biggest and best scripted.
You just kind of, and you cease to exist.
And unscripted podcasts in the world.
We were talking about a Spider-Man video game. It's not like, a 401k or anything.
And they're all told through a vibrant audio community that celebrates and empowers the geek in everyone.
Absolutely adored that game. I think it's one of the best platformers made.
We're building a global community of enthusiasts, igniting growth and creativity across every platform, and we invite you to join the conversation. And hey, when you're here, everything is better. That's why Geek Media is everywhere you are. We reach over 490 million people every month across 110 countries. And with over 83 million followers across every social media site, you won't have to go far to find us.
Hey, what's up, Super Ninfrendos?
We got this locked down.
You can tune into any of our shows on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube Music, or wherever you get your podcasts. We can't wait to geek out with you. Geek Media. Behind every story is a geek.
Can't find that final collectible you're missing? IGN strategy guides and interactive maps are here to help.
One step at a time.
IGN guides are trusted by millions, easy to use, and best of all, free. IGN has the very best, most complete and accurate guides for Shadow of the Erdtree, Baldur's Gate 3, and so much more.
See? It's good, right?
Every guide is tested and verified for you by experts.